Cool, man. I will definitely do that. Thank you for sending it to me. And let me know. Yes, 2 hours is totally fine. Just let me know, I guess, when you're done there. Thanks. Bye. Well. Alexa, stop. We're going to make our own music here, you see? And, oh, here it is. Live on Twitch. Lots to do. Lots to say. Where to begin? I think we have to make a list. So we've got the PLP to talk about. What is the PLP? And Gary'd rather not sell. We've also got announcement hype. The floor moves. The floor moves yet again. And I'm sure, in fact, I haven't checked, but I'm quite sure that that floor move printed us a higher high right where we needed it. Where am I wanting to go? Let's go. Oh, and I need to open up a Twitch. What's up, my friends? Hello and welcome to the stream. I have some gifts for you today I'd like to share. And best beware of scammers. Best beware of scammers. I feel obliged now. At some point, probably the beginning of every single day we're here, to tell you to never share the seed phrase for any of your crypto wallets. Whether you have one or many, they are the keys to your wallet. I'm working on setting up myself a hardware wallet, and I want you to understand what this is and what it isn't. And as soon as I figure that out, I'll be able to tell you. But what I know right now is that once I set this up, let's say I transferred absolutely everything that I have in my MetaMask to this wallet, which, yes, would cost me gas if I did that. And I accidentally leave this in my pocket and it goes to the wash and it's completely broken. I have not lost anything so long as I have my seed phrase. My seed phrase is the key to my assets, to the wallet that holds my assets. The memory stick or the USB wallet can be replaced. The seed phrase that's included in this box for this specific Ledger wallet to be set up is what gives me key access to the wallet address that lives on the blockchain. Nothing actually lives in here. It's only accessible here through here. This is like a remote that you can approve or deny whether or not you want the wallet to do something. And the wallet lives on the blockchain at a specific contract address that you can only authorize if you have the seed phrase. So never, ever, ever share your seed phrase with anyone. In fact, many people go as far as to separate their randomized words into multiple places so that there's added security. And we just have to be better at educating people as soon as they set up the wallet that the seed phrase, the secret phrase, whatever you want to call it, the seed phrase is of utmost importance. Nice. Hey Corso, welcome. So let's share the screen here. I want to see. Nope, not that one. Not this one. Which one is it? I thought it was this one. It is this one. Here we go. So degen data, what I was saying about a couple days ago, I think I was going through the lifetime chart and I was trying to explain to people, oh yeah, Oh yeah. So I was pointing out this last high that we had on June 26th and just trying to share with people a little bit of basic charting that, this time here would be considered a range. And, the larger crypto markets, Bitcoin and Ethereum, we're also range bound during that time. So markets can either be uptrending like you see for all of this move. They can be downtrending like this small move. Really, this was the bottom of the downtrend. So uptrend, high, low, higher high, higher low. I know it's move. Let me zoom in for you. So like this bottom is higher than this bottom. And so it's a higher low. And this is our previous high. We then had another higher high, higher high, higher high. And we continued that trend all the way to here. But now we go down, which is fine. We're still in an uptrend, but when we fail to put in a higher high, this is now a lower high, then we have to see what happens next. If either we're remaining in an uptrend and we go up here, or we're entering a downtrend and we go below this low like we did here, or we're entering a range. And so we kind of had a downward trending move to here until July 11th. And then we ranged until we put in another low at 5.3 on July 29th. And I wish I could draw here, but right at the top of these peaks, we can call that resistance. It kind of happens around 7.6, 8.5, 7 to 8.5. And you can see that every time we come up to it, 8, we go back down. And after this day, we surpassed it and we hit 11, almost 11. But that doesn't mean we're in an uptrend yet. We could have just broken out of the range. We could fall back into it. We could still go down after that because we haven't taken out the high of 12.9. But what happens next is the next low that's put in is above where this resistance was. And so that's called a resistance support flip. There was previous resistance that we spent some time there, and now it's become support. And that doesn't mean it'll hold forever, but it means that the market right now is supporting at an average price of 8.5. And then just in 1, 2, 3, 4 days, granted there was an announcement, but in 4 days, we're seeing that play out, that 8.5, even for cores, is like a very fair value relative to the market. And so even here, we're still technically, we're in a shorter term uptrend, but we're not in a macro uptrend until we take out this. And with yesterday's huge, 94 sales, between these 2 days of sales, 140 sales, we printed that higher high. We hit an average price. That's why this chart is interesting, because it's average ETH price for total sales. So it's the average of all sales. So if some spectaculars sell, then that's going to pump the average rather than if a bunch of cores sell. But that we were able to go through 94 sales and have the average price be 11, far above our 8.5 support and a higher low still, this is the most sales in one day. We've now confirmed the uptrend because we've confirmed the uptrend because we have a low, a high, because we got a higher high over this, higher high, higher low, higher high. So as soon as you cross, like if you can imagine a horizontal line on this line here, as soon as you cross that and put in your fourth data point, technically here, you're back in an uptrend. So we're in an uptrend until something else happens. And I just wanted to share that with folks. I think we should actually take a look today, because ETH has been on a run. We should take a look at Ethereum. But I do want to record a podcast with the daily news, talk about the announcements. If there's something that you don't understand or you want to hear about most, it'd be great to let me know that in the comments now. I can kind of give a brief on it before going into the podcast recording. We're still above 3K. Wow, this looks great. Oh, wow. Look at that wick. Wow. Interesting. Huh. When's the last time we... It's been a while. Here, July 21st. And that was wow, we broke right through it. And then we've just been bouncing on the 15-day below. Yeah, we're in such a strong uptrend. And where's this? 26.62. Mm-hmm. Oh, interesting. Yeah, we really have to spend more time up here. Look, so if you're like, what am I looking at? There's a lot of things going on this chart, and I'm not skilled enough to like really give you a simple breakdown of what all to consider here. But let me just bring your attention to this overlay where you have this sort of transparent box, and then these bars here. And these bars indicate volume in the market. So if I can turn on the volume down here, and where this shows volume by the time frame, so per hour, because I'm on the 1 hour chart, this shows the volume. I mean, the tool is called the fixed range volume profile. So the volume profile is like the amount of volume that happened at that level. And you can see where there's the most volume, we have what's called the point of control down at 2,300. So like the potential for ETH to go below 2,300 now, at least in the short term, is very unlikely because we're so far from the point of control, and we've established it as support here, and we've tested it, failed it, and now we're up above it. So this is now safe. So like the next zones I'm looking for, like I love this support resistance flip. The fact that we got this here at 3,000 is good, but I'm really more interested in this range, 2,500, because that's a strong bounce. I mean, if I'm speaking a language you don't understand, I'm sorry. I'm still an amateur, but I mean that's a 12% reaction to 2,500. So I would say that's very, very good. And what I don't have the skills to say for sure. I mean, nobody knows for sure. Anybody who says they know for sure doesn't really know. But what I'm really curious about is our range. And yes, so as of roughly August 6th, so it's only August 7th, somewhere around here, we put in a higher high around this previous range. And it looks like, I mean, we're up above all of these numbers. It looks like with this wick that we cemented support above this range that we've been in for 3 months. So now I want to know about Bitcoin, and Bitcoin's done the same. There was that huge resistance at 42, and now we're right above it. But we got the resistance at 44. Yeah. That's super interesting to me. That's super, super interesting. Okay. Let's go. Did I not call it the PLP? How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? 9 viewers in the house. What's good? What's good? Hey, Anna C. Jordan. I haven't seen you in a bit. How you doing? Thumbs up for rock and roll. So I just want to record a podcast and keep it kind of simple. There's a lot to talk about. Exploring a multiverse while you listen. That sounds awesome. There's a lot to talk about, but it doesn't need to be overcomplicated. And I have this live video Lots of messages. I'm getting a message from the NFT athletic community that is doing a virtual event. If people want to participate, it's August 16th to the 22nd, and you can do any sport and try to burn as many calories as you want in that week. So I haven't really explored if it's just that, or I know people are doing like marathons to raise money, or maybe there's sponsorships, but if anybody wants to do that. Yeah, you did the 5K. Yeah, Angela. Oh, nice. And you got a POAP. Cool. Yummy. Okay. What tabs do I got? Avastars. Oh, there's the PLP. Great. The Discord manager. Corso, are you still here? Corso. I really want to apply for this job, but then I read the job description and I was like, I'm not actually qualified to do this. Like, I don't have any experience in building, programming, monitoring, or selling or scaling the Discord server. And like advanced now, like if I had a basic understanding, maybe I would feel like I could level up. But it seems like they really want someone who has far more experience with Discord than I do. And I'm not sure how important like the creating of or like the building of bots is, but programming and monitoring and scaling, even that, I'm not even a novice. I've barely begun. So I am really hoping that Corso wants to apply for this position and is chosen to become the new Discord manager if he wants to. I did ask him if he was applying, and he said yes, but I haven't talked to him in depth. I'm just mentioning it. If you want to be the VFriends Discord manager and you feel you meet these qualifications, then you should definitely apply. There's a link in the announcements tab. You need to contribute your name, Twitter, Discord, email, location, if you have experience, and talk about that experience a bit, and describe your role in the server, as well as your understanding with Discord bots. I guess they allow you to answer no, don't they? I guess I should fill this out right now. Twitter profile link. Email. Where are you located? New York City. Harlem, New York City. Have you ever been a moderator or admin in Discord? Yes. If yes, please share the Discord link. They're going to be like, I've never heard of this server. VFriends? So if you're going to apply for this, know that when you give them the Discord server invite, make sure it never expires. So just as I did, you change the time frame to have no limit or limited uses. Please describe your role in the server. What were you responsible for? How many hours per week? As a moderator in the VFriends Discord, my role was to monitor 3 channels. Coder Talk, features, and what's the other one? I think it was humans. I haven't really spent a lot of time here in humans. Oh, great. Can I save this? Yeah, I think it was humans. No, it's here. Da, da, da.
No. Good boy. Good boy.
No. As a moderator in the VFriends Discord, my role was to monitor 3 channels: Coder Talk, creatures, humans, and primarily be present in the community. It is my job to keep an eye out for those in need of help, direct them to answers if I don't have them, welcome new users, and point them toward pinned messages. Be kind, otherwise make myself available for questions. Do you have an advanced understanding of Discord bots and can build bots, announce messages, import external updates? Nope. Um, 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 only gotten acquainted with bots and Discord with bots in the last 3 months and have never built one of my own. I've been using Discord for about 7 months now. 7 months? Right. I guess closer to 6 months. What are 2 features or updates you would add to the VFriends Discord today? That's an interesting question. Anybody have suggestions? What are 2 improvements? I mean, I think it would be fun to create a schedule of something. Corso for manager, yes. They need a not yet option. Yeah, totally. Floor tracker in the top left corner. Oh, that's a great idea. That brings people imagining Gary doesn't have the time for this each week. It could be a submission based open mic for the community to share their skills or knowledge, story, etc. Depending on how I think that's pretty good. To be able to jump immediately to here and everyone pings is a bit annoying to search for this messages. Yeah, it is difficult because you don't always know who sent it. But if you search for Gary's messages, you'll usually find the ping you're looking for. But yeah, when he drops it in the general chat, it's impossible. I mean, I wonder. It feels like Discord must have that option somewhere, like there's a notification. This is an inbox. Is there like a notifications? Like there's mentions here. So if you go up to, I mean, this is only on desktop. So this is going to be different on mobile, which most people you're probably talking about mobile. But if you are on desktop, you can go up to the inbox next to the help section and switch over to mentions, and then you'll have them there. So you see, these are all everyone's mentions, so there's that. That helps a little bit. Adding a floor tracker and gas now bot would add a lot of utility. I also think beginning some scheduled event each week that brings people consistently into the Discord and inviting others. Imagining Gary doesn't have the time for this each week. It could be a submission-based open mic for the community to share their skills, knowledge, story, etc., depending on how the event would be framed. Is there anything else we should know about you? Well, I mean, yeah. Anything else we should know about you? I didn't even tell them my name, huh? They have my Discord. Oh, here. I skipped the first one. Yes. Yes. I am I know this isn't necessarily the best way to write a job application, but I am considerably underqualified for the bot related aspects of this job as you presented it, but I feel at the same time, I'm considerably underqualified for the bot, but for the bot related aspects of this job as you presented it. I understand that. And am willing to begin. I'm willing to deepen my education to meet that challenge. I can't master the skill in 2 weeks, but I feel I can acquire some proficiency. My passion for the VFriends project, and my investment in this community is not something I could learn in 2 weeks. I run the first fan account for VFriends on Instagram, Twitter, podcast, on Instagram, and yes, I'm considerably underqualified for the bot-related aspects of this job as you presented it. I understand and am willing to deepen my education to meet that challenge. I can't master this skill in 2 weeks, but I feel I can acquire some proficiency. My passion for the VFriends project and my investment in this community is not something I can learn in 2 weeks. I've shared my entire journey with VFriends at Wanna Be a VFriend on Instagram and on our Jeremy Knows podcast. If you want to get more context on me and my relationship to the community here. Thanks for reading my submission. I think that's fine. Adding a floor tracker and gas now bot would add a lot of utility. I also think beginning some scheduled event each week that brings people consistently into the Discord and inviting others. I also would add a scheduled event each week that brings people consistently into the Discord and inviting others and inviting new members. Imagining Gary doesn't have the time for this each week, it could be a submission-based open mic for the community to share their skills, knowledge, story, etc., depending on how the event would be framed. I've only gotten acquainted with bots in the last 3 months and have never built one of my own. I've been using Discord for about 6 months now. As a moderator in the VFriends Discord, my role was to monitor 3 channels, Coder Talk, Creatures, Humans, and primarily be present in the community. It is my job to keep an eye out for those in need of help, direct them to answers if I don't have them, welcome new users and point them toward pinned messages, be kind, and otherwise make myself available for questions. Yes, Harlem, yes, Twitter. I wonder who's going to read this and be like, who is this person? Yes, I am considerably underqualified for the bot-related aspects of this job as you presented it. I understand and I'm willing to deepen my education to meet that challenge. I can't master this skill in 2 weeks, but I feel I can acquire some proficiency. My passion for the VFriends project and my investment in this community is not something I can learn in 2 weeks. I've shared my entire journey with VFriends at Wanna Be a VFriend on Instagram and on our Jeremy Knows podcast if you want to get more context on me and my relationship to the community here. Thanks for reading my submission. And why don't I also just give them a Spotify link? So I don't know who's here and listening to this. Like I said, I actually think Corso is the best person for this job, considering his proficiency with Discord. Oh, Corso's back. Corso's here. Hey, man. But I'm still going to apply. I can see how, just thinking like if they wanted to let me be the Discord manager, like the podcast would serve an entirely different utility. Like, if they wanted, I can do it on a VFriend specific Discord podcast, but like the fact that we're in the flow of doing these daily updates on Discord, and having that come from the Discord manager becomes very, very powerful. And it's already established with 50, after today, 55 or 56 episodes. So I see that possibility, but I truly think that Corso is better suited for it with his experience. And like, have you seen that guy set up a Discord server? It happens really fast. I would have a lot of learning to do to be Discord proficient to the level that I think VFriends deserves. But if they want to over-index passion for the community, understanding of the brand, and all the rest, then I think I'm a good candidate. I can also link them Instagram. Great. Oh wait, shoot. I want to do this from my other, I don't want to lose what I've written. Hold on. I'm going to copy paste this stuff just in case switching pages oops. Would have been dumb. Just don't want to lose this. Would not be time well spent. Thanks for the patience, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. I guess it doesn't matter if I do this from my personal account, but I'd rather do it from here. Of course. Okay. Well, I'm going to submit anyway. It's all the same, right? It's all there. Yep. Take a little screenshot. Thank you for your interest in joining the VFriends team. If selected, our team will be in touch with next steps via email. Thanks so much. Great. Love that. Thanks, Corso. Yeah, I am a great candidate. I am definitely a great candidate. And it doesn't diminish how great of a candidate I am that I feel that I'm not the right person for the job based on their job description. Before the job description, I was like, I have as good a shot as anybody. Like I can do that job. But if they need somebody who's already proficient in the languages that bots are coded in and the process for creating them, like I have to start from essentially zero in that journey. And, I'm smart. I pick up things fast. I can learn quickly, but, and on the other hand, like passion for the community can't necessarily be learned as quickly, but I just think like with what you've contributed already to the Discord, I'm sure that they're considering you as a top candidate. I'm sure they're just waiting for your application. If I was Zane, that's what I would be. I don't know if Zane has reached out to you to apply or anything but I can just imagine that they see so much potential in this for you. And I do too, as well. Such a tough call because you bring so much other utility and passion in the community aspect. But Corso has some of that too, for sure. Definitely. And DefSick technical knowledge. Oh, yeah. I'm going to put this on this stream. That's a great idea. Where did I see it? Y'all should team up as co-managers. I mean, I would be down for that. I don't know that they would. I feel like Corso would as well. I'd be very happy with either of you there, real talk. But man, you two would make a great team now that I think about it. Now that you mention it, I mean, I completely agree. And Corso, yeah, it would be sick, right? Corso and I, we have a good rapport already. Even just the handful of times that we've chatted, obviously I've got mad respect for him. Like before I was trying to set up a Discord server or anything like that, before he got GiftGoat, like I needed help and he was the one to respond the quickest and help me in the Discord, like in the early days in May, and yeah, we've had a few chats about projects and stuff. I think we could be a good team. It'd be cool. So, time for a podcast. Hello and welcome, VFriends. The day is August 7th, 2021, and the floor is rising. How's that for an intro? For real, welcome to the show. I'm just having some fun. I have no idea what's going to come of this podcast because it feels like updates and updates and updates are happening, but it's quite simple. We got our first pre-launch announcement. We're still pre-launch, people. We still have yet to begin, and I'm going to go over everything you need to know relative to the Avastars VFriends giveaway, the collaboration where 1,700 wallets that we're holding VFriends on July 24th will be able to mint just for the cost of gas an Avastars NFT token that is first come, first serve. And we've got the PLP, the pre-launch program, which is supporting emerging artists during their launch by getting them to contribute 555 tokens to go to VFriends token holders. Beyond that, we have a lot of announcement hype to talk about that totally pumps the floor on VFriends. We're seeing most cores selling at 8 ETH and above. And Gary is not really interested in selling anymore. He'd rather not. And so we're in a very interesting moment. We all can feel that a VCon announcement is right around the corner. Let's get into it. Welcome back to Jeremy Knows, and this is the Daily Download. Cool. That was solid. It's like the podcast, it doesn't need to be great. It's great when it's great. But at the end of the day, like, information is much better than anything else. Oh, I forgot. I didn't have Anchor here because I wanted to do this and this. Yeah, so now I've got Anchor in a separate window because it's not that interesting to see me hit record and watch a timer, right? So So everybody loves a story, and let's tap into what happened yesterday in the VFriend space. And in the beginning, there was no announcement. Wait, let me try this again. Can I make this simple? Everybody loves a story, so let's talk about what happened yesterday in VFriends. In the beginning, Gary announced that there would be an announcement in 3 hours and said, get your VFriends. In the middle, sale after sale after sale as we watch the core floor rise from 7 up to 9 Ethereum over the course of just 6 hours. And in the end, VFriend token holders found out that for the entirety of their hold, they will be receiving more NFTs that they don't have to pay anything else for, that will provide them liquidity or allow them to hold another token, potentially accumulating to more value than even their VFriend, as Gary mines new projects and allows anyone creating a project to submit 555 tokens for free to VFriend token holders. Wow, 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 wow. Wow, 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 wow. What else is there to say? I mean, it's you want to apply? Go ahead. It's completely open. This project is nothing that I expected, and it's so exciting for everyone who's already begun their project. There are so many candidates like BitShields and VectorBots and Biscuit Club and so many other community projects that I could name that are going to be ready for this moment. The most difficult thing, I think, for getting in on the PLP program, where Gary supports you through your launch and gives 555 tokens to the holders, is getting your contract address, because most people are minting through OpenSea or minting through Rarible. And I think it will be more desirable to see tokens minted as ERC 721 on a custom contract. However, either way is welcome. The form includes an option for 721 and ERC 1155. So let's talk about the beginning, middle, and the end. I mean, once Gary made this announcement, the speed of the Discord, as it is wont to do, went like 10 and 20 times velocity. It's one of those moments where people are so excited. It's going so fast. It felt like the longest 3 hours. And then Gary comes in and says, in 3 minutes, he drops a video while this velocity is picking up. And then we just went into hyperspeed. We're seeing like comments so fast, like you can only read one or two before the whole page is gone. And I think that says a lot about the project, that within a few hours notice, so many people will be active and ready to participate in catching that moment. We know that active communities and caring communities, specifically in Discord, is one of the most telltale signs of a project success. And even as VFriends token holders are exploring the NFT space and picking up other projects and hanging out in Deadheads and World of Women and Fame Ladies and Bored Ape Yacht Club, that there's still a pulse in the VFriends Discord that just takes a little bit of spark and that tinder burns. And Gary knows how to build the suspense. So we were having a lot of fun in the Discord for those 3 hours. He only made us wait 2 and dropped a video, which I can show you here on Twitch. Gary V talking with Jimmy.eth, the founder of NFT42 and Avastars, where they explain the possibility of this PLP project and execute it very quickly. During the interview, Gary records the outro in which he says, we'll do post-production on this. By the time this airs, this website will be ready. And so now go ahead and watch me introducing the project to you. And it happened very seamlessly, where he announced this often and ongoing benefit for VFriends token holders to have it essentially like a 1 in 7 or 1 in 8 chance, because hasn't been made super clear, but I'm pretty sure that the chance for the airdrop relative to the PLP is going to be based on unique wallets, not based on the number of tokens you have. I don't know yet, but I don't think that having a dozen tokens gives you a better shot than someone who has just 1 token. I think it will be based on unique wallets. And I'm inferring that based on the structure of what will be the first, basically the pilot to the PLP program with Avastars. It's a slightly different. Instead of 555 for free, it's going to be 1,700 for free. But in this instance, you will pay gas for the transaction, and you can mint a free Avastar during a specific window. I'll go over all those details in a bit. And I guess that's what I wanted to say. These benefits are coming to holders. I lost my train of thought, so I'm going to break up the segment and let's talk about Avastars. Oh, right. The structure of the first is slightly different. It's a first come, first served basis. It's not a lottery like the PLP is, where 555 wallets out of the 4,500 plus holders will receive the token. This one is first come, first serve, 1 per wallet. That's why I'm inferring that it's based on wallet address, 1 per wallet for 1,700 wallets. So let's talk about Avastars, exactly what that is, when it's rolling out, and what to do to get involved, to claim yours. Okay. Podcast. They said they took the snapshots. Yep. Please only attempt to claim 1 Avastar per address containing a VFriend. The contract will not allow more than 1 per address. Yeah, that is the fact. The VFriends Avastars collaboration is confirmed. I'm not going to go and read this entire web page. I encourage you to do that. It's garyv.com/Avastars. Also, our next episode will be the audio from the live stream I did yesterday, where I explain all the announcements in like 5 or 10 minutes. So feel free to go to that one if you want to hear it, or go read the web page yourself. But I want to give you the details you need to know to claim your Avastar. And the final piece of the puzzle will not be revealed until Monday, August 9th, Monday, August 9th at 4 p.m. Eastern time. That's 1 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. GMT. And Jimmy Eth has been minting Avastars from the Avastars contract and pulling them aside specifically for VFriends holders. And I think during the interview, he definitely promised less than 1,700. I want to say it was like 1,200 or something. And so it's even more significant, I think, to recognize that the Avastar that you're going to be getting if you mint this is not going to be, you won't have minted it, but it will actually come from the NFT 42 wallet that I guess is minting these Avastars. And considering that prior ownership is registered on the blockchain and might be significant for value in the future, that's very, very cool. A fun little thing as well is these tokens are all Gen 5 Avastars, and I'm sure that Gary is very glad that he's not giving away Gen 1, but Gen 5 Avastars. And so the way it works is you're only eligible for this if you are holding your VFriend on July 24th. And the reason for that is they took the snapshot of wallets holding VFriends 2 weeks prior even to this interview. So on July 24th, they took the snapshot. Every wallet address holding a VFriend has been added to a whitelist that will be allowed to interact with a specific token contract where you can claim your Avastar and you'll get a randomized token. It'll be very interesting to see which Avastar chooses you. Now, there are 4,551 wallets that are authorized for this contract, and there are only 1,700 Avastars available. So this will be a first come, first served basis. And the webpage, garyvee.com/Avastars, Avastars, breaks down everything, gives a brief on the project, talks about the connection, and says this: when can I try to claim an Avastar? Oh, TBD. I meant to start reading actually here. Okay, so you won't tell us the claim date yet, but what time will you make the announcement on Monday? So on Monday is when they'll tell us when there will be a window for VFriends token holders from July 24th to do this. There will be a 48-hour window where you can connect your wallet, claim your Avastar, pay gas on the transaction, but be very mindful that you can only claim one Avastar per address. The contract is built, and otherwise you will fail and you will lose gas on that transaction if you try to claim a second. This is also very exciting because Gary is bullish on projects which were minted 2020 and before. He said many times over the last week that these projects will always have a chance to make it just because of their DNA, that they were earlier than the early. And Avastars is one of those projects. These Gen 5 are minted 2021, but the project predates this year. And on top of that, Jimmy.eth is a living legend now in the NFT space. As the founder of NFT 42, I don't know his full history, but I just know he's been a significant influence and voice in the NFT community. Obviously created Avastars early on, but with NFT 42 also created Infin NFT, which allows people to deploy custom contracts, and now Nameless, which is the NFT marketplace that VFriends was minted through, that is currently in beta and will be launching for more projects in the near future. Gary was very excited on the podcast, mentioned that Jimmy could be an interesting character in the ecosystem and possibly become a regular on the podcast, which would be essentially a first for the Gary Vee audio experience. And they are just so excited about this opportunity of more and more projects doing this, that eventually VFriends token holders receive tokens that perhaps are more valuable or increasing in value more quickly than even the VFriends themselves. There's always that possibility that one of these projects that applies really, really hits and it takes off, like Bored Ape Yacht Club or like Cool Cats, or, you know, insert strong community here. So that is what you need to know for Avastars. Again, you had to be holding your token on July 24th. There will be 1,700 available. At what time will be announced this Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern time. I will make sure it comes on the podcast very soon. You'll have 48 hours to claim, but I anticipate that the 1,700 will probably be sold out within a couple of hours. We'll see how that plays out. Only one Avastar claim per wallet address. And you know what? Congratulations. Go ahead and claim your Avastar. Hey, Maria, what's up? I feel like my energy is general. It's like spread out. I don't feel as focused right now. But we're communicating the information. Something I didn't mention about Jimmy is that he's actually the person who sold the courtside cap for 100 ETH, which is kind of amazing. He didn't necessarily need that ETH. I'm sure he's holding quite a lot to be able to move around. But he bought the courtside cap for 17 and sold it for 100. So the PLP. So let's talk about the PLP, the pre-launch program for VFriends. And emerging NFT projects are getting a huge opportunity here. And while I want to address the simplicity of what it is, I want to say a little bit about what this means for us. A lot of the projects that are coming out now will be giving or authorizing commercial rights to the holders of their NFTs. This is one of the huge value propositions of Bored Ape Yacht Club and Cool Cats and many others that VFriends does not provide. And it's so exciting, the opportunity that these tokens might provide liquidity for folks. You might just be able to flip it as soon as you get it. It can boost your holding assets, or you might get lucky and get an NFT that you actually like and create something of your own in terms of derivatives or marketing or merch or what have you. Whether or not the token you get is going to be a big sell in the future, still the opportunity that it's something you can deploy to either accumulate more ETH or get other NFTs or go deeper into community building is very, very high. And the big X factor in this project is how will VFriends and Gary V support these infant projects that are launching? Because the value proposition is this. It's you as a new emerging project give 555 tokens to VFriends to randomly give to their holders. And in exchange, Gary V and VFriends will support your launch. So to what degree will Gary be tweeting and talking and interacting in the discords of these projects that will give them a lot of fire? Let alone will they provide other resources? Will they make contacts between younger communities and older communities? Will they do some blending? Could some of these projects sort of imply that there's more possibility? It seems very possible that a project chosen for the PLP could become a full-on collaboration given enough time after they're given time to mature and establish the community that they want to build. Gary V is someone who knows giving more than you receive is the best way to grow and build. And so that's obviously going to be intrinsic to the values of this project. His 5149 proposition is going to be huge. He's not going to take it lightly that you're taking 555 tokens out of your project, out of that circulation, out of your revenue, and giving it to VFriends. So what kind of time and access and effort is he going to put in to support these new projects that are launching? We won't know until we know, but it's very exciting to see that even at a time where Gary V has promised more of his time and access to him and his machine as ever, that he's still finding new ways to provide that time to people who didn't buy VFriends. He's said that he will be doing far, far less speaking because the time that he was allotting to speaking is now being dedicated to, bowling and Uno and fishing and Hangout Hawks and all the rest. And so he's sacrificed that income and left it on the table. And still he's siphoning off as much time as he can to give his influence to projects that he thinks are making a positive impact. Like, I just want to drive home what a huge opportunity that is. And if you listen to the podcast, which I highly recommend, where the full interview with Jimmy Eth, they talk about what about the possibility of somebody who just creates a project for this? What if they create a project that is designed to be included in the PLP, or even farther, is only 555 tokens and doesn't have a sales objective beyond just wanting to be generous to VFriends? That can become really interesting, especially if that artwork means something financially and or just emotionally to the holders. I highly recommend if you're curious about NFTs and making projects, that you consider this as a goal to apply. It's not something that you can just point your idea in the form. So at garyvee.com/PLP, there's a description of the entire program and a form to fill out as your proposal, essentially. Most of it is pretty straightforward, but you'll need quite a few. You'll need some infrastructure to your project before you're able to apply. So beyond your email and your contact name and your project, you'll need a Twitter URL, a project site, and a Discord invite link. So establish Discord with a working front-end website that can interact with your contract address. They want your contract address. And they ask, are you making a 721 or 1155? It doesn't say anything about if you're minting through OpenSea that you can't apply. But I think this is going to push a lot of the community projects that have been minting through the marketplaces to put in the resources and the time to create a custom contract for their project. Because it also adds more collectability when your token ID starts at 1 instead of, whatever quadrillion we're at right now in the NFT supply that has gone through OpenSea. After providing that information, you'll have to say why you think your token will be good for VFriend token holders, and they give you a space to say if you need help with anything. They say, is there anything else we can do for you to support your launch? And again, this is the X factor for me. How many people are going to be reviewing these projects? How many projects are going to get support even if they're not chosen for the PLP? How will Gary contribute time to making sure that these launches are a success? I could say will he, but I think it's a foregone conclusion at this point. He is wanting to also get exposure to as many up and coming projects as possible so that he can sniff out the ones that he believes in and hopefully put them on and help them in the first leg of their journey, which is their project launch. So that's the VFriends pre-launch program. If you have any questions about it, let me know. It's at garyvee.com/PLP. Can't wait to see what you create. Let me check Discord and see if there's anything worth reporting. Or let me check Twitch chat first. Win, win, win. We're gonna win, 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 no matter what. More announcements soon. Does more announcements soon? Okay, that was 4 hours ago. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, this is the big one that he'd prefer not to sell anymore. This person, okay. What is this? Okay. That's what you needed to know about August 6th and August 7th so far in the VFriend space. I mentioned in the intro, Gary Vee says he'd rather not sell his GOs. The scarcity of GO tokens has not yet been fully acknowledged, and who knows when the market will really catch up to what that means. I want to just call up Crypto Slam really quick because we had a record number of sales yesterday. And in fact, the volume yesterday printed our higher high and higher low on the chart. If you've been listening to the podcast, I've been talking about the range VFriends has been in from a low of about average 4 and a high of average 8. And we flipped that resistance at around 8 on August 2nd. And since we put in a higher high, another higher low, but we hadn't taken out the all-time high in average ETH price of 12.9 until the day before yesterday, actually, where there were 34 sales averaging 14.7 ETH. And the next day, on August 6th, we had 94 VFriend sales between 85 unique buyers at an average price of 11.14 ETH. So not only are we printing a higher low with that, but that is the most VFriend sales ever in a 24-hour period. And to see the floor rise in that way confirms that we're back in an uptrend, and we'll see how long it lasts. Our previous uptrend was all the way from May 12th to June 26th. Then we downtrended from June 26th to July 11th for about 2 weeks, and we were range bound for the last 3 weeks. And now the uptrend is back. We might find ourselves ranging here again above 11 ETH. The price floor on VFriends in terms of buy it now is absolutely ridiculous. I think on the collection heading, let's see, it says, wait for it, 8.95 Ethereum with 11.8 thousand volume traded in VFriends. I mean, it was only 1 or 2 episodes ago that I was saying we hit 10,000 Ethereum traded, and now we're almost at 12,000. So it's an incredibly exciting time to be a VFriends token holder. A lot of tokens are coming our way. And I'm just going to wrap up by sharing a couple of significant sales. I mean, the Patient Pig, very rare, sold for 21. We have cores selling for 8.5, 9, 8.7, 8.8. The Wild Wallaby, a character that's barely ever been mentioned, selling for 8.8. 3 more gift goats were bought in the span of an hour. We're seeing people finally start to recognize how much very rares are undervalued. Epic tokens are still showing the least liquidity. Oh, this page doesn't have pictures. I can't see their rarity. That's not helpful. Anyway, I'm not the best at like going through all this sales data. If you want to like watch the top sales that are coming out of the market, I suggest you go VFriends News on Instagram. Hopefully they'll make a podcast soon. They're a great 2-team family VFriends fan channel. I totally keep an eye on their page for big sales, spectaculars, gift goats, and all the rest. They've got a good pulse on it. While I'm shouting out channels, they did a BART chart, a unofficial ranking of VFriends tokens. I'm hoping to have Joe Bart, who started that initiative, on the podcast either tonight, or are we keeping it? Actually, we're going to do it in about 15 minutes, so we're right on time. Let's wrap up this podcast. You've been listening to me ramble. There's so much going on. Thank you again. And as always, comments, suggestions, shares, likes, tags, and any other way you want to support the channel is always extremely welcome and appreciated. As much as I am the centerpiece of this project, this is a community project. And the more that you communicate to me what it is you want out of this channel, the more I will spend time and effort creating that for you. Lastly, never, ever, ever share your seed phrase for your wallet with anyone ever. I'll be saying this every single day on every single podcast. I know it will get old. And so if you already know this, it's your job to make sure that anyone and everyone that you've brought into the space helps set up a MetaMask, even asked to set up a MetaMask, and you don't know if they did or not, make sure they know as soon as they set this up that the seed phrase is absolutely private. It is the only way to recover your wallet. And if anyone else has it, you're vulnerable to having your assets stolen. There were 11 holders in the last 24 hours or 48 hours that had their tokens fraudulently removed from their wallets, and it's absolutely tragic. We're talking about life-changing wealth that was stolen in a moment of, just not being careful enough, or, these scams are very deceptive. So I can't imagine the self-inflicted guilt and shame for allowing that to happen. It's not, there's nothing to be done about it, unfortunately. There are some plans brewing in the Discord to try and help these folks. Once those cement, I will share them on the podcast if you'd like to contribute a small amount to buying VFriends and giving them to the people who were the victims of these scams. But the point of this message is never share your seed phrase, and make sure anyone that you know in the space knows that as well. Thank you so much for listening to the Jeremy Knows podcast. This has been the daily download for August 6th and most of the 7th. My name is Jeremy. I'm the Heart Trooper number 7, and this was Jeremy Knows. Yeah, we call it a podcast. Much love, happiness, luck, and prosperity to all VFriends holders. Getting out of reach for me, just feeling a bit left behind. Oh, I'll take your stretch, Cyclone. I'm sorry to hear that. I empathize with you. I've been obviously I have VFriends, but like I've been wanting to get more, and just like without selling the VFriends I have, those assets are completely out of reach for me. I have started to try and buy some tokens to flip, but it's not. It's maybe not as difficult as it has been or as it could be, but I find it's pretty nerve-wracking, to like, it's very vulnerable to even like, let's say you win, like I've got a token I bought for 0.05 and I'm getting offers for 0.38. It's a world of women, I wish I could have bought more of them. But literally timing, I saw them minting in Gary's wallet and I didn't have any ETH. The next day I did, they were sold out. I picked up one that I liked, but I wasn't in that mindset of like, oh, let me flip these. And here we are, like 6-7x out of just a week's time. So there are opportunities like that happening every day. It's not going to be easy to flip your way to a VFriend, but I do recommend getting in with the community and finding the people who are having success flipping these projects. Like somebody turned me on to Lazy Lions today. And I don't know if Lazy Lions is a good project. I'm not recommending you go buy it, but after their minting, they sold out after mint. The floor hasn't dropped out. It's gone up. We're seeing the flat floor rise. They've got an active community. The art looks good. They are. My only concern about the project is that it looks like they're trying really hard to be or look like Bored Ape Yacht Club. But if Bored Apes, accepts them, then that could be beneficial. I think overall, it's not a long-term hold, but I haven't done a ton of research in the Discord. But as these projects come up, you can jump in the Discord, look for things that you want to see, active communities, organization, a strong teams present in the Discord. Look at the active sales. What does their website look like? Do you like it? That's also a factor, and start small and get bigger over time. It's tough. It's tough. And it's hard for me to speak to it because I haven't done it successfully yet, but I've begun my journey, and we'll see what I've done with the plays I've made. I mean, I bought about 10 tokens now that I'm hoping to flip in the next 2 to 3 weeks. We'll see how they play out. 2 of them, actually, 3 or 4 of them have actually done well, but already I'm like, it's vulnerable to want to list it because could it be more, right? Like, not every project is going to be a Bored Ape Yacht Club, but there are definitely tokens that I have where I'm seeing a rise, and I'm like, well, is this Bored Ape Yacht Club when it was at 1 ETH? It's starting to push 0.3, 0.6. That's a lot of money. But is it going to be more later on? And you just have to go with your best judgment. You can't get stuck on worrying about what you could have done or what you didn't do, or if only you had the money. There's literally, I was saying this today on Twitter, there are literally free opportunities in this community everywhere. If you don't have the money to spend, you can apply to every single giveaway. You can go in on Discord servers and just like, don't beg, but contribute. If you're present and kind long enough, people will start to give you stuff. Like it will happen. But that doesn't make it easy, and it is emotional. Yeah, find Mario. Mario's done amazing. And I know he was so close to getting a V-friend, and now the floor just spiked. So I don't know where he's at now, but he has been really good at flipping. Mario. He's in I don't know what his Discord tag is, but he's in the clubhouse pretty often. WoW Super's also been good. Kevin is a beast too, and Loic knows his stuff. Cyclone, pop into the Tuesday and Thursday at noon clubhouse channels that Nikki runs. So he's talking about the Let's Be Friends clubhouse, and that crowd is there. They talk a lot about flipping strategies. And you have a chance at the Knowing Gnome. That would be amazing, bro. I hope you get that. I mean, there's several people I hope get that, but Maria, did Mario get one? For the longest time, I heard him saying, I'm flipping up to a V-friend. I was saying I'm close to a V-friend. I'm not sure if he's actually been able to pick one up yet, because he's been doing a few different projects. So I'm not 100% sure on that. I should post this podcast real quick. I got to add some music. We're just going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This was a bit of a rambly podcast, I have to say. Something cool happened yesterday, and it was so perfectly timed. We unlocked Twitter Spaces. So if you don't know what Twitter Spaces is, it's essentially a Clubhouse execution. It's a voice chat execution on Twitter, and we've been trying to get it for a while. I found out about it maybe like 3 or 4 weeks ago. Then I tried to figure it out. I didn't have the option. Then someone told me we needed 600 followers, and we were at like 400, and we got to that point just in the last few days. And then I was in a Twitter space and heard about a form that you can fill out to apply. And within a couple days after that, we had the access to it. So we did our first Twitter space yesterday after the announcements, and it's really fun. It was like, what a perfect timing to do that. This music is like, I'm starting to really get over this music. But producing the podcast in an actual audio app is much more involved. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum. Oh, I forgot that I'm not sharing this screen with you. So give me just a second while What's up, chat? Nothing new. Cool. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Is there anything pressing? Is there anything on your mind? I'm just about to post the podcast. It's a little bit of a meandering one. I talk about Avastars and I talk about the PLP, but it's not the straight to the point podcast. It's a little bit of this and that, a little bit of speculation, a little bit of opinion. So if you have any questions about what's going on right now, what's up with the announcements from yesterday, let me know, and I'm happy to explain again. Gary did say there are more announcements coming soon. I don't think that means today, but I could be wrong. I feel like Monday we'll see another announcement. Episode 55. Daily download. PLP, Avastars. Keep it simple. Yes, we do. Publish. Oh, I forgot to talk about the job opportunities. I need to do that. I think I need to do another podcast. I think I need to do another podcast for the community stuff. Okay, bye, Maria. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to prepare for a community podcast. There's a lot that the community is doing. Like, I want to talk about Adam's project. I want to talk about Mug Life NFT. I want to talk about the job applications that are open for Vayner. I want to talk about, VFriends Insiders has giveaways. Let's VFriends is doing stuff basically every day now. We've got some stuff in the pipeline. Vaginas is meeting every other Wednesday. And that's just the beginning. Oh, I forgot about Joe. Oh, right. Joe. Okay, so I guess scratch that. We're actually going to have Joe Bart on in just a moment. Hopefully he's still ready and available. I think I just need to message him on Instagram. And he's active. Rip. Tim's telling me, so that project I told you about, I bought one. Show you. Let me see if Joe's not here yet. So I bought one of these lazy lions, and I'm not super, I bought it for 0.09. The mint price was 0.05, and I'm getting offers from the bot for 0.03. The thing I'm starting to really like pay attention to in terms of flipping is also, if I have to keep it and lose the money, will I like it, and can I use it in commercial rights stuff? And so when I went to this collection, I actually looked for bowler hats because I like bowler hats. And so you can see I picked up this guy from the Wolfgang. There was another one I wanted. I actually lost some gas on a transaction trying to get it. But I like this bowler hat, and they don't even call it. They call it a fedora. They're wrong. It's not a fedora, but it doesn't matter. It's the shape I like, right? And so this top hat, this is like one of the first tokens that I feel just really unattached to. And I noticed the bubble gum. I noticed the different skin. Also, most of the characters have shirts. There's a little bit of rarity going on, but Tim is the one who turned me on to it. And Tim is the one who was, who turned me on to the project and was like, hey, this is happening. And I think he's right that I'm not going to be upset if this doubles. And so I can pay $6 to list it and see what happens. I can always take it down. But the other thing too, so as we talk about flipping ahead of me actually knowing what I'm talking about with flipping is, you have to have a certain amount of gas to burn to list and delist, because you might purchase a token and list it wanting to make the flip, but then you realize you need those resources for other things. or I'm sorry, or then you realize the floor is rising and you're actually underpriced. You don't want to sell it for less when you can sell it for more. So these things change all the time. While we wait for Joe, I'm sure he's probably here now, actually. Yeah. Hey, Joe. You ready to come on up? Cool. Hey, man, welcome to the show.
Hi.
Good to see you.
Yeah, you too.
It's going really well. Should we make this a podcast? Should we just like record our conversation and podcast it?
Sure, it's fine with me.
Yeah, let me do that really quick. I'm just gonna go to Anchor here, new episode, and I'm pretty sure if I add in the audio from the browser. So let's do a test, Joe. If you just say something.
Yeah. Good afternoon.
Well said.
The friend crew.
Yeah. So I'm going to it's processing right now. I'm just going to play that back, make sure it's capturing your voice like I want it to. In the meantime, what's the website where the BART chart's at?
thebartchart.com.
I'm stopping myself from asking you any questions so that we can. So let's see. So let's do a test, Joe. If you just say something.
Yeah. Check out the
thebartchart.com. Well said.
The friend crew.
Yeah. Did I hear double? Wait. So let's do a test, Joe. If you just say something.
Yeah. Good afternoon.
Okay, great.
Sorry, I didn't know that you were replaying it. I was talking.
Oh yeah, so that was you. That's what I thought. Okay. Well, welcome. You know, this is the first podcast first interview we've done on the channel. So I'm excited to have you, Mr. Joe Bart. And I'll give people a little bit of premise, and then I can't wait to hear the story of how you came up with this idea and organized the Discord server. But as of just yesterday or the day before, when was this released? As of yesterday, the BARTchart.com is available with a top 30 VFriends ranking, unofficial, of course. And there's a lot of data in this to sort of dig into and speculate about. So I'm very grateful for it because it's news and that gives me content to respond to. But also it's a vehicle to get to know about you and your journey with VFriends and what kind of passion led to doing this in the first place. So welcome.
Thanks.
Where are you from? Like what's up today?
Yeah, so I live in South Dakota.
All right.
So in a tiny little town of about 500 people in South Dakota.
That is a tiny town.
It is, yeah.
How long have you been there? Did you grow up in that area?
Yeah, I grew up not too far from here, on a farm, actually. So out in around here we call it out in the country. But yeah. So yeah, I was a farm kid. But
fantastic.
Yeah, just in the same county.
And when was it that you discovered Gary Vee?
You know, as somebody asked me that, I think it was whenever Crush It came out, the first version of Crush It. I think I picked that up.
2009. I believe it was 2009.
Okay, so yeah, I mean that's kind of where I discovered. I'm a big reader, and I don't know. I don't remember if somebody gave me the book or if I bought it myself, but so yeah, I've been following Gary for that long.
And what was the reaction to the book? Was it the sort of thing that like kicked you in your ass, or did it just put him on the radar and it brewed a little longer?
Yeah, no, I mean I remember reading it. I remember right after reading it, feeling like it's sort of both like a book that kicks your ass, but also it's like so like common sense, simple, like of course, right? And so at the same time, I was like, I mean, is this really going to change the way I think? Because it seems so simple, but it did, obviously, and I became a big fan and have followed him ever since.
Awesome, cool. So fast forward 12 years, and we find ourselves in this NFT craze. You know, I'm curious about how you came to the space, because I think that informs a lot of why you decided to make this chart. I mean, clearly you care about VFriends, but I wonder if you would share What's your crypto journey? How long were you buying cryptos before NFTs, and was VFriends your first NFT?
Sure. So my crypto journey is very, very short.
Mhm.
So I run a nonprofit. That's what I do for my real job.
Great.
And so, but we do economic development finance work. And so I started actually looking at crypto to see if there was something in the future, maybe for our work of helping rural small communities to
Yeah.
finance projects that they're trying to do. I didn't really know anything. I mean, on Twitter and everywhere else, I mean, you hear about Bitcoin and that sort of thing, but I really didn't understand it at all. And I decided,
Right.
so my birthday is in early April, and I decided for some reason on my birthday, I'm like, you know what? The best way for me to learn about crypto and understand it is to just do it.
Get involved.
Right. So I decided to, I thought, I could take a class or a course or something. There's lots of those when I Googled it, and like,
Yeah.
maybe I just read everything I can and try to buy something. So I bought a little bit of Bitcoin. I texted a couple of friends. Actually, I think I DM'd them on Twitter and said, "Hey guys, how do I do this?" A couple of people I knew who are already into crypto, they helped me figure out how to get a wallet set up and that sort of thing. And I just dove in, and that's kind of my style. I just went in hardcore,
Yeah.
and for about a month, and about a month in, then I started seeing Gary post things about 5.5, and something big
Yeah.
is coming. I really didn't even know what an NFT was at the time. But when he dropped the big news about VFriends coming, I dove in and tried to understand what is this, and
Awesome.
decided to try and convert some of my crypto, and I've been doing pretty well. Bitcoin and Ethereum, and I had some Doge and a few others, and I sold Doge at the right time, almost the right
Nice.
time. I mean, like right
Selling it above where
after.
you bought it is always the right time.
I suppose that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I didn't buy it at the right time, right? I mean, like I was talking with
Sure.
I think the thing that really I had just sort of started to figure out a little bit about crypto, and I was at a restaurant, and somehow the topic came up with the server there about Bitcoin or something, and she said, "Oh, I bought Doge one night at a party. Somebody was talking about this funny thing, and I like put
Wow.
$200 in, and it's worth more than I make in a year." And I'm like, "Whoa, that's amazing. Let me figure this out."
Yeah.
And yeah, so I dove in, and then I decided, yeah, okay, I'm going to try and buy one of these tokens. I don't really know what that means. I followed all the instructions Gary gave everybody, right? Like setting up MetaMask, which I'd never heard of before. I'd never heard of OpenSea before. And decided after I put in at least 50 hours, I decided, yeah, I'm going to buy one of these core tokens. I'm going to wait till it gets to the floor. I ended up, this is something I give my wife a hard time about now, because I had narrowed it down between the Harpic and the Daring Dragonfly,
Ah.
and I couldn't decide which one I should buy. And it was getting close to floor, and I thought, and there was only a few left of both of those, and I thought I better snag one pretty before the floor, because I might miss out on the character I want.
Yeah. There was a bit of a gas war there. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I asked her to pick. I got to narrow down to these two. Pick one.
Pick the dragonfly.
You pick the Dragonfly.
It's still a great character.
Yeah. So anyway, that's kind of how I got in. And by the end of the auction, I had convinced her to let me buy two more. And
Good.
so we bought three on the auction, and then I was just hooked and sunk my teeth into NFTs, and started. I decided to sell that Daring Dragonfly and see if I could buy something else, and before I knew it, I was flipping NFTs, which is kind of hilarious because I didn't even know what the heck they were before May 1st.
right? And now they're making some real money for you.
Yeah, like ridiculous. I mean,
Yeah.
it's, you know,
That's so
this
funny.
is,
Just before you came on, I was talking about how little I know and how educated I need to get because I'm doing my first flips right now, and it's a strange balance of patience and trust, you know,
Yeah.
because like even like on top of the FOMO of wanting to get a token that you think is going to be a good flip, there's also the FOMO of not wanting to list a token that you think is going to be a better flip, you know, the
Right.
following week. And there's a lot that goes into it, even just beyond the fact that you need a certain amount of resources to get started.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well,
that's super interesting.
well, and honestly, I would never, if I wouldn't have bought at the auction, I would have never been able to get in. I mean, like
Yeah.
I mean, I'm one of those people who put too much in at the auction. Like
Same.
part of the reason I sold that first one, it's like, gosh, if I could I need to put some of our savings back in the bank instead of in something that I don't fully understand yet.
Yes. And are those
But,
savings back in the bank or are they in other NFTs now?
so I mean, I moved, you know, the first VFriend, it was crypto that I'd already owned. So I moved that back into Bitcoin here
Smart.
about a month ago. And then, yeah, I had pulled more out of our savings to buy the second and the third token. And
And you know what? You also picked a great time to move it back to Bitcoin. Because
yeah,
Bitcoin
that worked out.
up.
That worked out well.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I have to admit, I have converted that Bitcoin back to Ethereum and bought tokens since then. But
Yeah.
but I do, yeah. So the cool part is I've been able to put all the money back into our savings that I bought those original tokens with. So I feel like now, you know,
Now
what
it's
I'm
house
doing,
money.
yeah, and playing with house money, and that's I mean, it's not all house money. Like I have a friend that helped me get one. So early in June, I was obsessed with trying to get a gift goat, and every time I would get enough built up, the floor would go up again. I just kept chasing it, and so I finally I just got to stop chasing these goats. And that was right at the time when the auction was almost done, and all that was left was some of those meal tokens. So like the lunch ladybug, and like, you know what? I have enough. I've been chasing this goat long enough that I have enough ETH now. I could buy a lunch lady. I'm almost there, right? So I call a friend of mine who I knew, who actually was a guy who helped me get in and get set up and that sort of thing. And he let me use some ETH, right, to buy this thing. So I get it, and by the time I got it transferred, all the lunch ladybugs were gone.
Oh no. Oh man, I was so happy. I've never gone from happy to sad so fast.
It was a bummer. So that's when I decided, like, because all I had been doing, the only reason I had been selling was to try and put some of my savings back and to try and get a gift goat. And then I switched that to a lunch ladybug. And then I'm like, you know what? This chasing a token doesn't make any sense.
Not sustainable, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. So because the floor is going to keep going if this works. So if the floor is going to keep rising, well, then how about I just buy some cores and try to keep selling them. And that's what I did for 2 months. And here we are.
So have you been able to like buy a core for 4 and sell it for 5 and buy it for 5 and sell it for 7? And how many times have you done that?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I'd have to go
enough that you don't know exactly how many. I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah.
That's a sick profit. Congratulations.
Well, yeah, and it's been fun because I think through that process, I'm sure this has been an experience for you as well. But I mean, I gained a bunch of friends too. Like there's people that you talk to about this token. I mean, I've done a bunch of trades, you know, and at first, like, it seemed like I didn't know, and maybe some did, but it seemed like most people in the community didn't really know how to do trades safely. Like we hadn't figured out, or maybe NFT Trader and what's the other one that people use? I can't remember. Maybe they hadn't really shown up yet. I don't know, but we were like literally like, okay, I've got to get to know this person because we're talking about trading tokens that are worth thousands of dollars.
Trust. Yeah.
So yeah, so like literally like say, okay, well, here's who I really am. Who are you really? Let's look at each other's LinkedIn's. All right, I'm going to send you a picture of me right now with a clock and whatever to know that I'm a real person. And do you do the same?
Yeah.
And then it's like, look,
Wow.
let's do FaceTime to make sure that we try. And it was so that process. I mean, I get some real friends who I've still never met in person and probably won't
Yeah.
till.
Not yet. Yeah. At
Yeah,
VCon. Yeah. I've never done a trade through NFTtrader.io. I was made aware of it and I looked through it, but it's a little nerve wracking because my understanding is you go through and create the trade, you put up your half, and then you have to go to the wallet you want to trade with and select the one or more tokens that you want for your offer. But
Yep.
then you have to send the link to the recipient.
Yep.
And that's what feels so vulnerable because you're receiving, like, especially on the receiving end, like that link, we've heard so many things and it's because it's true that just don't connect your wallet to any link that's just sent to you,
Yeah.
and so to verify, I imagine that when you click on the NFT trader link, it shows you what the trade is pretty clear, but
It does.
it's still very vulnerable to wonder if there's something behind it, if there's something you don't see or, yeah, it's new, so it's uncomfortable. But
Well,
I'm glad you brought it up because NFTtrader.io is safe. You just have to
it
be
is.
careful. Yeah.
I'll tell you what I did is before I did a trade on there the first time, I actually talked to their team at NFT
In their
Trader.
Discord. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're in the VFriends Discord. So I mean, you can now. I didn't know there was no way to know for sure it was them. So, but
Yeah.
somebody else had told me this works. It's safe. I talked to these people, so I looked them up, and yeah, I talked to them a little bit, and I didn't do a trade with somebody I hadn't been talking with, in the Discord. It wasn't like first time I talked to that person, so I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But the thing is, on NFT Trader, like it's a little tricky if you've never done it, but you don't actually have to click on that link. You can actually, if you connect your wallet, if you can go to NFTtrader.io
And it'll show you your open trades.
and it'll show you a pending trade. So that's how I do it. I would recommend doing it that way so you're actually on the real NFT Trader site.
Great. Love that clarification. Because like I said, I've never done it. Wonderful. Yeah. So yes, NFTtrader.io is good for trading and you don't have to accept the suspicious link. If the trade has been set up for you with whoever you're talking to, then you can go to NFTtrader.io and it'll show up associated with your wallet under pending. You can review it. It's going to go exactly how it is. There's a contract or maybe it's not a contract, but there's an operation that's built between those contracts that's secure and reliable.
Yes. Yes. And now the other little scary part the first time you do it is once you get all the transactions approved through your MetaMask, the tokens disappear from both of you. They go into a separate wallet that NFT Trader sets up.
Yep.
And they hold them until the ETH and all the transactions are complete, and then they send them to the other person. So it's
there's like 15 minutes, 15, 20, 30 minutes, depending on the network, where you're kind of holding your breath.
Yeah, I mean, and it's probably not that long. It's more like, for me anyway, it's been 5 to 10 minutes. But okay. Yeah, I mean, you're like, God, I hope this is all the right way. And you hate to do that. Here's so many horror stories, especially lately, about scammers. So
yeah, I had to make a big to-do about it in the last podcast. And unfortunately, like every podcast is just going to have that disclaimer now. And now this is where this podcast gets it. Never, ever, ever share your seed phrase. Your seed phrase is the key to your wallet. If you lose your phone where you're connected, or you have a hardware wallet and it gets destroyed, it's irrelevant because your tokens are associated with a contract on the blockchain. And the only way to authorize transactions with that wallet address, that contract address for your wallet, is contract address is the wrong word, actually. It's a token, or would it just be a wallet address? Whatever it is like a digital physical location on the blockchain where your tokens live. And your seed phrase is the key to that. It allows you to recover it, import it into a new hardware wallet, whatever it is. So if someone gets your seed phrase, they have access to all of your assets. They don't need your approval to transfer them.
Right.
Never share your seed phrase.
Yeah, there's no reason to ever share your seed phrase with anybody. Right?
Never, ever, ever.
Right. Now, here's something maybe for your listeners. So as I mentioned, I mean, I've been in this for a few months now and feel like I'm beginning to, really get the hang of all this stuff. But I just recently realized, because somebody kept telling, several people keep saying, like, get a hardware wallet, like it's not safe enough to leave it all out there. And I had this idea in my head, because obviously I don't understand the technology quite enough yet to realize that the hardware wallet doesn't actually store anything on it except seed phrase, right? It's just like a remote control, basically, that allows you to 100%. Log into your MetaMask or whatever else. And so that's a big aha for me. And at first I was like, wait, if I'm putting my tokens on this little, metal stick, what happens if
I lose it? What if I sit on it and it breaks? What if the connection gets destroyed?
Right,
but it doesn't live there. It lives on the blockchain. Yeah. I'm glad you said that, because I just got a hardware wallet in the last week and I haven't set it up yet. But the other thing I didn't realize about hardware wallets is you can import the wallet you already have, and therefore you don't have to spend any gas to transfer your tokens. You just you import with your MetaMask seed phrase into this new interface, and it'll keep your address and all your tokens will already be there. The alternative is you create a new wallet with the seed phrase that they provide you in your box. Like if you PSA, if you order Ledger and it's not in its vacuum seal plastic and there's any indication that it's been open, like, contact Ledger and send it back immediately, because inside is not only the USB stick for the controller, what is the remote control to your new wallet, but it's the seed phrase that is the key to setting this up as a new wallet. And if I want to transfer all my tokens there, I have to pay for the gas to do that. I'm pretty sure that when I do set it up, I'm going to use it more as a vault. That, like, I won't be using it as a control for the transactions I'm doing on a daily basis, but my VFriends and some other tokens that I plan to hold for a long time and I don't plan to sell can live there as a vault.
Yeah, that's kind of how I'm thinking about it too. I'm about the same stage as you, just getting it set up. And yeah, even when you get your Ledger and you go to try to download the app, the first thing that they do is, the first question is, did your Ledger arrive in the shrink wrap? And if not, contact us. Do not set this up. Contact us first.
Yeah. And I guess one more thing to be said about Ledger in specific. This is not a product endorsement. We're not associated with Ledger. There are other hardware wallets you can get, but it's a very popular one and they have a good track record. I got the Nano X because the Nano S, which is like about half the cost, only allows you to store 4 different kinds of assets. And I was already invested in more than 4 currencies. So there's some kind of app structure where you can install and uninstall apps if you want to go between different currencies on the S. But the X allows for 100 crypto assets. So it's just easier for me to always have the app relative to whatever token address, whatever cryptocurrency I'm dealing with there. And it was like $120. It was way cheaper than I anticipated it would be.
Yeah, same here. That's the same one I got. So I did the same thing. And then another one that, again, not a PSA or endorsement, but that I've heard a lot of people are using is Trezor, which I was debating between the two. And
those are the 2 big names right now.
Yeah.
Trezor. So that's Trezor, Trezor, and Ledger, Ledger. Awesome. Huge value there, Joe. Incredible. I learned a lot. I'm sure there are plenty of people listening who did as well. Should we shift gears into the bar chart?
Let's do it.
I can bring it up on screen right now.
Awesome.
So here we have it. I'm interested in the origin story. I think before we go into like who made it on the top 30, it'd be fun to hear maybe what the seed of the idea was, and also what all you've done in terms of creating the Discord and the forums and recruiting experts to put in their opinion. Like, can you just share how the process was getting to where it is today, published with the top 30?
Yeah, I mean, the short version is I have spent all of my spare time in the last few weeks avoiding my family and working on this. But so, you know, really it came from the idea itself came from just that whole process of you know, buying and selling some tokens and trading some tokens and having conversations with people. And when people start to notice that you're doing that, they start asking you like, hey, you know, you're paying pretty close attention to these characters and that sort of thing. So what do you think? Is this one better than that? Or would you do this deal? Somebody's offered me this trade. Would you do it? And I kept getting DMs about that. And as I talked to some other people I know who are doing a lot of the sort of flip life, Johnny Norte, that's his username in Discord, is really the guy. He and I were having a little conversation. Is his idea really the name of it? I said to him, you know, I've been thinking, you know, we should just create this ranking, like, you know, ESPN or somebody like that does a ranking of NFL teams. It doesn't matter, right? It's not tied to anything. It's inconsequential, but it's just fun to debate and fun to talk about and fun to sort of use as a conversation piece. It's not meant to be advice for anybody, and that's what this became. And Johnny said, yeah, you should call it the BART chart, and there we went. And so
I love it. And I also love the transparency that you're like, I'm doing this. It's going for an undetermined amount of time. There may be a series 2, there may not. This is just for fun. This is absolutely not investment advice. This is just informational, polling the opinions of how many experts filled out the poll.
Well, there's 20, so including you and I, right?
Yes.
And so there's 20 people. So technically there's 19 plus, in a secret twist, we've got Gary V as one of the rankers. He doesn't.
No way. Wait. Well, wait. What?
Okay.
Wait, based on his Discord comments?
Yeah. So we created a ranking based on.
That's cool.
We created this sort of very simple algorithm based on two things: the number of goos that he owns, or that he kept out of the auction on each character, and the type of token, the type of rarity that he kept. So there's a scoring system basically based on that, and then that plugged in with some what we call super boosts from his hints that he drops on Discord about this character or that one. And so we combine those two things into a 20th ranking, and basically the BART chart is an average of those 20 rankings. So 19 of us who are quote unquote experts about VFriends. Some of the experts are whales. Some of them are flippers. Some of them are nerdy data people or newsy people. And we have a couple who don't yet own a VFriend, so they're still hustling to get their first VFriend. And some who own, you know, well, one at least who owns over 200. So
I wonder who that could be.
Yeah, I don't know. He's pretty quiet. He doesn't really talk about it much.
Yeah. Wow. So, I have to say, I feel like that's relatively objective how you handled Gary's vote. That's really cool. I didn't know that until just now. And the fact that you scored it by the goes he holds. Yeah. That just makes a lot of sense to me. I mean, obviously there's some subjectivity in the super boosts, but he's also been very clear about basically who his top 10 to 20 are anyway. So it's just not necessarily in what order. So that's really awesome.
And the super boosts, actually, I mean, there is definitely some subjectivity, but not a lot. I mean, we tried to make it as data driven as possible. So it's not like if he just mentioned a character or had a link or whatever, it's like they only get a boost, and the boost is like is 0.25 points in the ranking, right? Okay. So
And how
Okay,
much
so the
how much is each like core go in terms of points?
well, so the each each go or goo, however you pronounce it. I'm in
Yeah,
the goo club.
it's
Um,
both.
yeah, the each of those is worth 1 point in sort of this point system for goo for Gary points basically, and
Yeah,
then if he holds an epic or a spec, they get a few more bonus points, right? And then the Discord Bible that's
yes,
kept by T Laird is the thing that the official source of our super boosts, and those super boosts only go if like there's been more than 5 mentions of a particular character, and he's like very clearly saying this is a top character. That's the only characters that get a super boost, and
that's
they get a
really interesting.
0.25 boost in their points for that
I
ranking.
I totally understand if you don't have this off the top of your head, but even if you want to guess, like how many characters fell in that super boosted category? Because when we're
Yeah, I
talking
mean,
about 5 mentions, I
yeah.
know Monster, I know Panda, I know Pig, I know Cat, Harpic, Kind Warrior, but like Heart Trooper maybe only has 4. I'm
Yeah.
curious, how many of those super boosted
Well,
characters were there?
yeah, so I think I would have to look for sure, but I think
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like a dozen.
Okay.
And the so this is where it gets a little subjective, right? Like it's not strictly 5 mentions and you're in. It's
Part,
what are those mentions?
Mr. Joe Bart's part. Pardon me. I forgot that Anchor can only record for 30 minutes, and we are approaching that in 5, 4, 3. Let me just restart this. Bum, 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 and we're back. All right. Sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
Yeah, no problem. So that's where the subjectivity comes in a little bit more. Like it's not like a 5. If he mentioned it 5 times, it's automatically boosted. It's what did he say in those mentions? Like
Got it.
not if he just dropped a link, that's one thing. But if he says like hint, or if he says like,
Yeah.
this is a wow, or this blows my mind, or this is fire. I mean, those are like, oh, okay, so that he's a little more serious about this one. And there are some where he's like very specific. Like early on, people were asking him like, who are your top 5? And he rattled them off. Right. So like,
Yeah,
oh,
right
okay.
after they sold out, right? The one where he was
Yeah.
like, what are your power rankings? And he was like, Panda, Elephant, Monster,
Right.
Well-Connected Werewolf. Yeah.
So those are definitely super boosts, even if he only said it once. He ended up mentioning all those characters again several times throughout the 3 months. But
Very cool.
like that's right out of Gary's mouth. This is a top 5 character. So that's a boost, right?
So the next question is very obvious, and that is, did the Heart Trooper get a super boost?
Let me just
I need to know this, Joe.
Yeah, I get it. I understand.
I feel like they maybe could, they maybe couldn't. It's like the Heart Trooper got a lot of love in the last couple weeks, but not as much early on.
Yeah, I kind of don't think it did get a boost, but let me just double check to be sure.
It's okay. It gets I give it a super boost. For full transparency, I was a quote unquote expert for this. I jumped in at the last minute, and you can actually watch me making my choices because I streamed it and posted on YouTube. Nice. But I was not precious with it. I was like, it was like I knew I could have taken hours with it, but I didn't have the time nor want to do that. But I don't think I put the Heart Trooper in the top 10. I think I put them around 15 or 16. And I haven't taken a close look at bar chart, and maybe this is a good opportunity to switch in. I think that's about where it landed.
Yeah, it landed at 16. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I find this so interesting because on the one hand, I see the top 10. I'm like, spot on. Wow, spot on. But then I see 20 to 30 and I feel like, oh, that's all wrong.
Isn't that fun?
I mean, that's part of
everybody has their favorite character, and they're like, how can this not be a top 30, right? And
right.
Like, but there's some that I was surprised about, like the werewolf for one. I'm surprised that didn't make top 30.
It didn't. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
I think I think on Gary's paper, it definitely would, right?
I think so. Right. And I mean, it's up there. Although, there's not as many goo or go tokens of the werewolf as some of
Right.
the others that he's talked a lot about.
It's also hard looking at this list to see the tokens that are not included.
Yeah.
Or at least have them come to mind, because like I don't think I'm seeing the zombie. Oh no, okay, the zombie is 26.
Right.
Is that a zombie? Like Willful Wizard at 24 feels very wrong. It feels like Wizard is top 10, but then you look at the top 10 and let's just give people some of these answers. So number 1 being the very, 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 very lucky black cat.
Yeah. Runaway, by the way. It was a runaway. It wasn't
Oh,
unanimous. It was a runaway number 1.
Nice. I think I put Empathy Elephant as number 1. But the black cat, I think, I'm glad to hear it was a runaway, because I think that's the point of making it the mascot, giving it that, especially front run attention. So we've got the lucky black cat in number 1. The patient panda is number 2. The adventurous astronaut is number 3. Empathy elephant at 4. And adaptable alien at 5. I mean, even just those top 5, the cat, the panda, the astronaut, the elephant, and the alien.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense. It's what we're hearing most from Gary. It's what we're seeing the most sales for, right? There was a 70 ETH diamond panda that sold, a month ago?
Yeah.
Just yesterday, I believe, an adventurous astronaut, a core adventurous astronaut, sold for 25 ETH, the biggest, and I think it was a non-go. I could be wrong about that.
No, I think you're right. I think it was
I think it was a regular core adventurous astronaut. That makes it a record for non-go cores, and it could also be a record for go cores. It might be a higher sale than any core go so far.
Well, I saw this morning that actually one of our experts listed a black cat core at 35. First time I've seen one for sale, and it'll be really fun to see if that sells for him, because
it is the first time. Yeah. Wow. 35. I mean, honestly, I know that both of us are a bit of fanatics.
Yeah.
But is 35 a fair price for a core black cat?
I don't know. I mean, I've had a lot of, maybe you were in the same Clubhouse conversation the other night where we were talking about, would you trade a spectacular for a black cat core? And it was sort of 50-50.
Oh, I wasn't there. Assuming it's not a top 30 or even top 100 spec.
Yeah.
All day I make that trade.
I would too, and I think and it's a tough call, but yeah, I mean, if it's a regular character, I'm
quote unquote regular.
I'm making that trade. Yeah,
I'm making that trade because I actually haven't mentioned this much, but I went really deep into vfriends.com and the characters when they were announced. So even between 5.5 and 5.11, on top of getting started with all this content, I was spending a lot of time researching and trying to make a choice, and getting a little overwhelmed because there were too many characters to really understand. And so I made a spreadsheet with them all, and they linked back to their Instagram posts where the utility benefit was. And so that helped me sort of look at them alphabetically and get a sense of what they all were. And I looked at the very, 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 very lucky black cat basically as a gift goat, without knowing, I guess more globally, admission tokens versus gift and all the rest. I projected onto the very, 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 very lucky black cat that those token holders would be very, 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 very lucky with some kind of surprise and delight that is far beyond what you could even dream up. I think very, 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 and I will continue to say the whole name. I think that the very, 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 very lucky black cat holders are more likely to find free Teslas in their driveway than gift goats.
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. I mean, well, there's certainly fewer black cat owners, right?
Yeah.
So,
That makes it a little easier.
yeah, I mean, I think it's become the sort of untouchable token. Like nobody's selling that. So I was really surprised to see one come up today. And
Has a single one sold? I don't think it has.
and not that I'm aware of. I don't know. We'd have to ask one of the data nerds that
Yeah.
helps with our chart
Yeah.
here. But
As the bar chart evolves, and if you do a second series, like it would be really fun to have like a monthly or every other month, whatever it is, just a real data driven check in, because like that's not really my strong suit. I can like record some data, but like synthesizing data is not really a strong suit of mine. So it's very fun to me to be engaging in this.
Well, yeah, and we have a couple of serious data nerds who are also experts.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
it's fun to see their take on it. It's fun. The other thing,
please go ahead.
Even like number 6, Rare Robot, I mean, I think is a lot of people's favorite. And just today in the Discord, I got a message from somebody like, how can Rare Robot not be in the top 5? And I'm like, well, okay, here's the top 5. And they're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And
yeah,
it's funny when you get into actually trying to rank all these characters. Like, first of all, there's so many. And then it's like, wow, this thing that in my head, before you actually sit down and try to rank them, in my head, it's like, yeah, this is a top 10. And I probably say that about 30 tokens, right? That's why we went to 30, because I was saying that to one of the experts one day, like, I mean, yeah, there's 30 top 5s, right? And or 30 top 10s and whatever. And so it's like, okay, so let's do a top 30. And the funny thing is, ironically, we ended up with 31 because the 30th one was a literal tie.
Yes, between the impeccable Innostranet, which Gary loves, and the dynamic dinosaur, which Gary also loves, because there's only 2 dinosaurs. A little fun data fact. What is it? The dynamic dinosaur and the truculent T-Rex are the only 2 in the dinosaur category. So,
well, the other interesting thing about the dynamic dinosaur, which is the bottom of our list here, but it's still in the premium tokens, right? The premium characters. Right. There are very few tokens between core and spec that are not goose for the dynamic dinosaur.
So he holds all of the very rares and most of the rares.
Yeah. And he holds, I'd have to double check for sure, but I think he holds at least one of the epics on that one. He didn't keep very many epic goose. So
yeah, it's interesting to see like in different tokens, because like 2 cores and 1 rare was kind of the base for every character.
Yep. And every character is at least that. Yeah.
Every character. And then I've seen for some, he'll have like 1 spec, but for others, he'll have like 3 specs.
Yeah.
Or sometimes 4. And, I feel like there's an average of like 3 rares and 2 very rares on some of the more like the higher go quantity tokens. But then a handful of characters, it's just every very rare. And there's just that entire category is go. And he's got 1 or 2 of the epics, and he's got 5 rares. And that's super fascinating. I did not pick up on that during the auctions. And I know that the people who were following those stats really won big by knowing which tokens he cared about.
Yeah, I didn't either. It didn't even occur to me to look at that really during the auction. I mean, like I said, I had heard about NFTs like 2 weeks before the auction. So I didn't know what in the hell I was doing. And I certainly didn't quite understand what VeeFriends was going to be. Well, I mean, nobody really saw what it was going to be except Gary maybe, but I didn't understand how it was going to work. And I would have definitely used that information to choose a token, but I would have never been able to afford, because at first I went in with, I had 0.6 ETH when I decided to get in. So I'm like, I got to wait till the cores get down to 0.6 or lower, which means the last couple of days of the auction, of the last couple of days before the cores hit floor. Was the first time I could really start looking and deciding which tokens I could still choose from. And the damn Harpic was still available then. That's weird.
Yeah, the Harpic was available. Well, my story with the Harpic, I don't know if you know, but I have a Harpic. I have a core Harpic. And I picked it up in like the beginning of June for 5.5.
Yeah.
And that was the biggest investment. It still is the biggest investment I've ever made. And I bought it because I only got the one Heart Trooper, and I so desperately wanted to have a second token. And I was like, I'll hold this for the rest of my life. Like, this could be number one, right?
Yeah.
Ironically,
well,
you know, a couple months later, like, I'm considering if I want to flip it. I'm considering if it's possible to flip that and some other tokens I have into a Hangout Hawk. But that's a conversation. Maybe we can talk about that at the end. But what's kind of ironic or funny about having purchased the Harpic for 5.5 and getting more infatuated with it over time is I actually minted 6 tokens. I own the Heart Trooper, but I minted 3 tokens for my partner Alex, who helps a lot with the channel. 1 token for my other friend Tyler. The 3 of us like all were doing this together, but they weren't like proficient enough or ready, and we also weren't sure if 1 ETH was going to be enough. So we pooled our ETH, thinking we would just get 1 if necessary. And then I was the one who was there and watching the market and like coordinating with them. And Tyler's like, Focus Falcon. I got him that. So I minted the Heart Trooper, the Focus Falcon, the Willful Wizard, the Perceptive Puma, and then later the Gift Goat for Alex.
Wow.
So that's 5. But then during the week of the auction, someone on Instagram reached out to me and they were like, hey, how do I get Ethereum in my MetaMask? And I was like, this is how you do it. But like, to get a core token on the floor, like, you might not have enough time because there's going to be a waiting period. And they asked me to hold the token for them, essentially. And, you know, sort of knowing that it was going to be, it was such an exercise in trust, like kind of how you were talking about with the trades that you were doing. You know, on the one hand, I had to trust that he was going to pay me back, but more so, he had to trust me that once he gave me the ETH that I would send him the token. And I knew I was being conservative. But, you know, I bought him the Sentimental Salamander for 0.5 and only asked for 1 ETH in return. And he ended up paying like $2,500 for that ETH because of the fluctuations, you know, following the auction. All of that to say that he didn't know which token he wanted. And he had seen the Sentimental Salamander in a piece of content with Gary talking about his Jets sweater and his mom, and like feeling like he likes the Sentimental Salamander. He personally identified. And I was bringing his attention to the Harpic that was also about to hit the floor. And I was like, this is a really interesting token. I mean, it's the only original concept. Like Gary said, like, this could be the big one. Or maybe it was even before that. But I picked up the little note that said original concept. And it was second on my list after Heart Trooper. That's why I brought it to his attention. And he was like, that's really cool, but no, I want the Sentimental Salamander. And so, like, in terms of like interactions from my wallet, I minted a salamander when I could have minted a Harpic, and I later bought not that same one, but a core Harpic for 5 and 5.5 a month later.
Well, that's what I did too. It's funny that you mentioned that original content. You know, I noticed that too. I was like, I don't see this anywhere else. Like, I was looking at the in Ostronet, however you say that. I don't know how to say that one.
I was looking at Enostranet. I think it's
Enostranet. Yeah. Okay. Enostranet. It's a Russian word for alien, right?
Yes, I believe so. Let's ask Google.
And then the other two, I was looking at actually Kind Warrior and Heart Trooper, and I'm like, these look like original characters. I mean, these aren't animals or something. And so why did he only say it about that one? And that's what kind of turned me on to the Harpic at the time. And then, you know, my wife, I give her a hard time now, but I mean, she didn't even know what the heck I was looking at. I just showed her
of course,
two doodles, right? And she's like, oh, that one's cute. And so we bought a dragonfly.
Yeah. Okay, so this is a Russian word. It's actually a Russian word. It sounds like this.
Иностранец.
Ah,
Inostraniec.
okay.
Inostraniec. It's that Russian stra. I'll play it again.
Иностранец.
The podcast is like, where the fuck is this going? And it translates to foreigner in English. It can be foreigner, alien. Even here we have gringo,
Yeah.
tramontane, and continental. Tramontane meaning no idea. Russian.
So I didn't know. I had no idea that what the word meant. That's why that one in particular, I thought, well, he must have made that one up too. Like, what is that?
Right.
And later on, and this was just maybe a month ago, I was talking in the Discord DMs with somebody who owned one, because I was asking them if they were interested in selling it, and like, oh no, and I was talking to somebody from Russia, and I didn't realize it. He's like, oh no, this is the Russian character. I'm like, what do you mean? And so then that's how I looked at it. I ended up buying one because I looking back through all the comments and everything a few weeks ago, I hadn't seen it when he said it, but at one time, somebody asked him alien or Inostranet, and he said
both.
It's a toss up or both or something like that.
I saw it. I think you're right. I think he said it's a tie.
Yeah. I thought, oh wow, that's interesting, because he has said Alien as a top 5. So I actually ended up buying one of those, and
nice.
And it's interesting. It's one of those interesting characters that you don't see very often out there in the wild. And
but
so
his quality is impeccable. Like,
yeah.
I don't know if everybody knows what impeccable means. It's actually one of my favorite words. It means in accordance with the highest standards of propriety.
Yeah, and flawless. I looked it up
flawless.
too, and that's what jumped out at me is flawless. And yeah, I mean, it's like I got this feeling like, oh, so this is sort of the homeland for Gary and his family. It's about that sort of, so there's some what's the word I'm trying to say? Sentimental, it's not a salamander, obviously, but there's some pride
with like motherland, with like his grandmother and grandfather he barely knew, and his family.
Yeah. So that's kind of what got me onto that character, right? And I'm hoping that eventually it moves up. It moves up to actually be a tie with the alien. We'll see, but right now
that's a curious case. I know we haven't really told everybody what is all in this top 30 yet, but before we finish out the top 10, my big realization when posed with this question and having 57 characters to rank was that, not to say that this isn't relevant, but that this kind of comparison will not be relevant in the future, because we won't be comparing the entire slate of characters to each other, but that there will be groups, industries and different parts of culture. Like it's more likely to me that we'll have top 5 music VFriends, top 5 food VFriends, top 5 business VFriends, top 5 sports VFriends than necessarily like a clear top 5 all-time everything, because over time they will become more specific and more specifically providing value to different people in different communities. That doesn't mean it's not a lot of fun, but I think that is really how we're going to view it sooner than later.
No, I agree, and it's why I keep saying over and over to everybody, like, this is just for fun. This is not advice. This is not something you should make a bet on. This is just 19 people saying, here's what we think. And it's so early in this venture that we don't know anything yet, really. I mean, we when I mentioned that the ESPN NFL ranking was sort of an inspiration for this. So I went and looked a little, and it's like, it changes so much from week 1 to week 16 or 17 that, I mean, they don't know anything, and they get paid lots and lots of money to be smart about this stuff. Right. And we're just, this is so it's so early. It's week 1 of a 17-week season, or 18 now, I think it is, in the NFL. So, I mean, we don't know what this list is going to look like in week 10.
Yeah. And it's so great. You basically got this out on week 0 because it debuted just before this announcement that pumped the floor, and we still haven't actually started. I mean, the announcement yesterday was for the pre-launch program, which, spoiler alert, means that there's still a launch coming. The auction launched, but the project has yet to launch. So it is so early in this process. I want to remind everybody that we're looking at the BART chart, and you can see it all for yourself, thebartchart.com. I feel like, I want to keep this podcast within the hour. We've got about 7 minutes left. I want to make sure Joe gets the last word, maybe talk about other things that he's got going on. So we might not name, I think we'll probably go through the top 15, maybe 16, just so I can say the Heart Trooper. But let's finish out the top 10. So Rare Robots number 6, followed by Gary B at 7, Motivated Monster at 8, Perspective Pigeon at 9, and Patient Pig at 10. And my first while there are other characters that I think we could say are top 10, like I thought You're Gonna Die Fly was really gonna make the top 10, but it didn't. However, I look at these top 10 and it feels so right. Like both patient characters are here. Black Cat, Astronaut, Elephant, Alien, Robot, Bee, Monster, Pigeon, Pig.
Yeah.
It's just, those are the characters that have been receiving the most attention, the most hype. Motivated Monster with his purple hat. There's no world where he doesn't end up in the top 10. I just feel that.
Yeah.
So it's very cool to see this list.
I think for me, the one that I was most surprised, that I was most surprised about in the top 10. One is I thought Motivated Monster would be a top 5. I really did. And the Harpic, which I am probably biased. I have a little emotional attachment to it, but I thought it would be a top 10, and it didn't make it.
Yeah, I thought so too. So let's see. After the top 10, we've got the Diamond Hands Hen, Entrepreneur Elf, Accountable Ant, the Thoughtful Three-Horned Harpic, and 15 is Kind Warrior. So the Harpic at 14 is just, there's not a lot of room in the top 10.
Yeah, I agree.
I could see Perspective Pigeon dropping out of top 10 over time, but I think about perspective and what an important idea and concept that is for Gary. And, maybe not. Like, I also thought Gary B would have been top 5, like top 3 even.
Yeah.
Like Gary B is the Mickey Mouse of this lineup by design, but that doesn't mean that Patient Panda or even the Harpic won't become Mickey Mouse based on how the world reacts, right? And how you build it.
Well, and the interesting thing is Gary has not talked much about Gary B at all.
No, he did in a podcast, or it was actually an Instagram live video back in, this was back in, couldn't have been April. No, it was May. It was May. He said it was his favorite character. But he's since said that the cat is his favorite character. He's since said that the Epic Hungry Hammerhead is his favorite illustration. He said that many a time.
But he's got a lot of favorites.
He has in a moment said that Gary B is his favorite.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think the Diamond Hands Hen is one that I've probably heard. I was surprised to hear a lot of feedback about that one, that it's too high, and that doesn't surprise me at all where it lands at 11. But
I agree. I might personally prefer the Entrepreneur Elf above it, but the Diamond Hands Hen, like if you look, all of the crypto cultural characters landed in the top 20. We've got the Huddle Hyena and the To the Moon Meerkat. I mean, I guess you could also put the Flex and Fox in that category, but the Flex and Fox landed at 25, so it's still top 30.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair critique. Again, it's all for fun, but I think people underestimate, the context of the project. Like it lives in a cultural space where diamond hands are the most important thing.
Yeah. I think I'm with you about You're Gonna Die Fly, which I thought it would actually be higher than 21. And that's the other one I probably have heard the most from people about, like, where did that come from? Why is that in the top 30? And I thought, oh, geez, I thought it might be
Oh.
higher.
Oh, Wyatt is there at all? Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and another one like Content Condor at 28. I'm glad that it made the top 30, but I feel that it's top 20 at least.
Yeah.
Same with Zombie and Gorilla, to be honest. But I feel the same way about the Wizard and the Forever Phoenix. So clearly, I'm biased.
I would definitely agree with you on the Zombie. I mean, I definitely thought that would be way higher than 26.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's keep reading through this list. So 16 is the Heart Trooper. 17 is the Huddle Hyena. 18 To the Moon Meerkat. Driven Dragon at 19, followed by Forever Phoenix at 20. Have anything to say about that?
No, I mean, I think those feel about right to me. Other than
They
a couple
do, don't they?
mentioned.
I like seeing
maybe
Kind Warrior and
Zombie.
Heart Trooper ranked about equally,
Yeah.
because of the revelation that they're in the same world, and with the Heart pick, how fortuitous or how convenient, coincidental that those three characters came in right after each other, 14, 15, 16 for Heart pick, Warrior, and Trooper. It's pretty cool.
That is cool. Yeah, I hadn't even noticed that till just now. So that is cool.
Oh, let me get another quick break in the anchor. Give me just a sec, Joe. So we've gotten through the top 20 on the BART chart. 21 is You're Gonna Die Fly, followed by Passionate Parrot, which Gary has said is very just has a large possibility, I suppose. It's one of the better artistic tokens.
Yeah.
Fly, Parrot. 23 is Alert Ape. 24 is Willful Wizard, and 25 is the Flexin' Fox. This is where it gets really hairy. It's just like it's so hard to place these.
Yeah. Well, it's almost like these last 10, I mean, they could be in any order, and it doesn't really mean much difference between 21 and 30 in terms of the perceived value of these things from people.
I think that's right. I'm inclined to agree with you, and I might even extend it a little farther, like 17, 16, like the second half, like obviously the top 10 is going to stand out a lot more than the last 10, and based on what you like and what comes from these characters, we'll probably see most shift in the last 15, right?
Yeah.
Characters who are momentarily, go ahead.
I think this is also the spot where there's going to be the most argument about what's missing, right? Because there's going to be a bunch of characters that are in the next 10 or 20 when we release that, which will be in a week or two. We'll release the top 100.
Right.
That there's going to be a lot of arguments there about, oh, okay, there they are, right? People are like, where is this one? Like, Well-Connected Werewolf is one that I've heard a lot about. A lot of people saying, like, how can that not be a top 30? And I'm like, well, here's it barely missed the top 30, I'll say.
Exactly. And in Gary's mind, it is a top 30, but it's not up to Gary at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. It's up to the market. And that's why we did it this way. We didn't go by sales data. I mean, I made that decision really early. Like, we started looking at sales data. It's like that's not going to tell us anything, because
if you're going to go by sales data, exactly, you have to go by the tokens that aren't selling as well. And how are you going to differentiate between like the hodlers who they have one token and they're just trusting Gary for 40 years, and the people who know that they have a low, like just a token that doesn't move, like a cat, or the astronaut has moved a little bit more, but even the elephant, meerkat, there are a lot of these tokens in the top 30. In fact, they don't move very much.
Well, and the other thing is, you can't really track trades very well unless you really dig into the blockchain data, because it's really, really tough to know. There's some owners who've been trading, 70 ETH, 80 ETH go specs, right? And with for 2 other specs and some ETH or something. So like, how are you going to use that?
You have to timestamp. Yeah, that could, and it's just less. It starts to become more investigative. You have to make not assertions. You have to make inferences based on the timing of things instead of This is great. I mean, the market is the market, and it'd be great. As an unsolicited suggestion, for more people to become experts and fill out these polls, because the larger the sample size, the more accurate this bar chart will become.
Yeah, I definitely expect that to happen. I've had at least a handful of people reach out to me since we dropped this just yesterday and say, hey, I'd love to be part of this sometime if we're going to do this again. So, and I'm sure we'll do it at least. I told the people who signed up to be experts, we're planning to do it 5 times. So if they're signing up, be ready to do this 5 times. I don't know what that timeline is going to look like. We're just kind of play it by ear. And
well, and like, it's going to be, the chart may not be very different after VCon is announced, but after like 2 or 3 character collaborations are announced, then that might move the chart. I think 5 sounds great, and 5 is also basically the most important number in this community. So let's fucking go.
Coincidentally, yeah. The other interesting thing, and I don't know, I have no idea why, 30 just sort of seemed right to me, and we picked to do top 30, and it's weird. I mean, I know there's no connection because I don't know Gary, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't even know this thing exists, but he started saying top 30. Oh, that's a top 30. It's in top 30. And I was like, oh, that was luck. That was a lucky break that he started talking about the top 30 instead of, typically people would talk about a top 10 or a top 25 or something. So that's been kind of fun. I don't know why he started saying top 30. I'm not claiming anything about any relation to that, but it's fun. We lucked out by picking 30. Yeah,
I'm gonna make sure he knows about it.
Well, I've had a couple of
not like I have like some grand power. Honestly, I think it's actually a situation of diminishing returns. Not that he like doesn't care about our profile. I know that he's aware. He doesn't engage very often, but I know it's somewhere in his mind. Like, somebody came to me the other day on my Twitter DMs, and they were like, how does it feel to be the #1 source for VFriends news beyond Gary V? And I was like, blink, blink. Because I literally said that's what I wanted. Like, within the first couple of weeks, and I realized how valuable Discord updates were, I was like, this is what you want. I guess I'm going to be the #1 reporter for VFriends. And I've just remained consistent in that, So I know that he's aware. I know the team's aware. But what I mean in terms of diminishing returns is I tag Gary V and VFriends and a handful of people on the team sometimes more than a dozen times a day. So they know that if they want to engage with our content, there's going to be a lot of mentions and comments and tags and stories and tweets, and it's a lot more to get through than maybe you randomly once posting it and he happens to see it, So who knows? Like, I'm so curious. I don't know if I'll ever know, but I'm so curious to know how Gary perceives the movement of different fan accounts. Because I'm the first fan account for VFriends, but there are several that are doing great content, and he's had plenty of fan accounts over the years. Some that are more consistent than others. So like, I wonder what it is in his consciousness, gratitude, and also like, I don't know. I'm just very curious. I can't wait to have that conversation with him.
Yeah, it'll be fun to know. I mean, like he liked a tweet that I made one time about VFriends, and that I was on a high the rest of the day.
Yeah, and it gave you just that endorphin boost.
Yeah, right. So if he mentioned something about it, that'll be pretty cool. But
that's the other crazy thing is, like, he's retweeted me twice, and each time has made like the number of impressions for that week double and triple.
Yeah.
Like a little story share, and suddenly like we're pushing 60 and 100,000 impressions.
Yeah.
And It's just
Wouldn't
wild.
it be cool? Wouldn't it be cool? I mean, this is not even a goal. It's just it's like a wow. That'd be awesome if at some point Gary becomes a secret voter in our poll, and like nobody gets to know his top 30, but
I'm gonna say that will be cool because I think if you do this long enough, and maybe you will, maybe you won't. I think if you do it long enough, it'll happen. In the same way, like it was hard for me to say this week 1 and even week 4, but at this point, this is episode 56 of the podcast. Like I know that it's a matter of time, provided I maintain no expectations and consistent with, speaking and providing value to the community. I was thinking about it specifically this morning, that by the time Gary comes on the show, whether it's an Instagram Live or here on Twitch or whatever it is, I have this feeling that it's going to feel more like a win for the community than for me. That people are going to be so stoked to see some person who just had an idea and literally followed the blueprint and just did what he said to do, and good shit started to happen, and he eventually, like, it's such a gift from him to the audience to come on this show now, because there are enough people who watch it. And so that's why it feels like either that, or maybe he gives me like 30 minutes at VCon, and like the first interview is like live at VCon. That would be incredible. But
and that would be really awesome. So maybe you're doing your podcast live at VCon. That would be
I mean, I haven't even been thinking about VCon yet. Like, I have obviously we have to do something grand and special and live, eventually there's going to be a itinerary that comes out, and you're going to have to choose between this at 2 p.m. or standing in the Q&A booth line for 4 hours to get your selfie and ask your question. And I'm going to be the guy who's like, listen, there's a lot of shit happening at 3:45. From 3:45 to 3:50, make sure you go here, because it's going to like be the very beginning. Like, get there early. That way you can get out in 20 minutes and go to the stage. The Rock is speaking. There's going to be free tequila, and by 4:30 you have to be in line here, because like whatever, Russ is going to perform, and like get in front, like whatever. Like, I can't wait to be doing that kind of reporting, and I'm going to have to do it live because shit's going to change while we're on the ground.
I hadn't even thought about that. It's going to be really important, though. I mean, like, there's going to be a bunch of people a bunch of us who don't know what the heck's going on this first time, right? Like, I'm sure that the Vayner team is going to do an awesome job, but I mean, there's going to be so much going on, and I think there's going to be a lot of people there who don't typically go to those kind of events.
Possible, very possible. I think that's right. I think there's going to be a 15 to 30% that are very accustomed to conventions like this, like real estate agents and insurance agents, and I don't know, even entrepreneurs. There's conventions similar, with similar. That probably aren't going to be similar to this, but the convention format is an incredibly common marketing tool in almost every industry. But then, I wouldn't be surprised if a good 25% are people who are maybe a little more quote unquote regular. Like, they've got their thing, they're just doing their side hustles, and they don't play in that arena.
Well, I mean, my wife would be one of those, assuming that we still own at least 2 tokens by then. She'll be there, and she doesn't go to those kind of things usually. You're
like, if I can flip it into a Go spec, I'll go down to 1 token.
Yeah. I don't count anything out, but I'd be super surprised if we don't have enough for both of us to go.
All right. Since we're riffing, we're already past an hour. If people are listening to this podcast still, I mean, we've got a few folks live with us. We haven't lost anybody this entire time, which is amazing. Like, wow. People are loving this conversation, I'm sure. And I'm sure plenty also have it on in the background. Just shout out to everybody who opens up the page to give me stream time, but you don't actually listen because you just want to see us succeed. I know there are several of you out there, And that's incredible. I can't say enough how thankful I am for that. But since we're riffing, I mentioned earlier that I'm now very desirous of a hangout hawk. And I'm curious, because you've been doing some flipping, also want to get it out there because I need to find a hawk seller.
Yeah.
What is your where would you rank the hangout hawk? What's the fair value today? You know, basically for a month, I've been feeling that the hangout hawk for my story is very important. That I want to be in that community setting in VFriends.
Yeah.
But you know, I certainly don't have the liquid assets, and but I do have a couple VFriends. I have some other, like, I could maybe pull the shotgun somehow. The last hawk sold for 25 Ethereum. And this morning, someone offered me 10 ETH for my Harpic, which I think is a low ball offer.
Yeah,
but
you can get more than that.
But it's on the table. It's on the table,
Yeah.
and it's hard to walk away from $30,000, especially when I paid like 13 or 14,000 in 5.5 ETH. So just to like give you the context, like, what do you think about that? Do you think it's a worthwhile flip to flip 2 cores or maybe even 3 cores into a hawk? And what's give me the Joe Bart insight.
Well, I mean, I own one, so
all right, let's go. Okay.
yeah. No, I mean,
and you really want the Harpic, don't you?
Yeah, no, but it's that one's in my vault. That one's an untouchable. So I mean, and I didn't have any of those until just recently. I've just decided, like, you know what, I have a ratio in my mind, and I'm gonna keep it. Let me be honest, it's in my spreadsheet, and so it tells, like, here's how much I want to keep liquid so that I can move it and flip it and whatever. And these are I'm keeping these. And the hawk is one of those, because I mentioned earlier, 100 years ago when we started this podcast, that that I was chasing a gift code for a while, but it's never about the stuff. I don't give a rip about stuff. So that's not an attractor to me for the gift code. It was I just saw it as an investment opportunity. And one that I thought was going to skyrocket up as we got closer and closer to the gift drops, which it has, right? Because at the time I was chasing it, a gift goat was like 10 or 12. Right. And which was a lot, which was more than I had, which is why I was hustling so hard to get to 10. And then I got to 10 and it was 11, and I got to 11 and it was 12, and just kept chasing it. And but it's been, I'd say early July, I started noticing, like, to me, it seems like all of a sudden these hawks are maybe a better value than the gift goat. Because at that time, the hawks were selling for like 9 or 10 or 11, and the goats were up around 20. And like, that seems like too big a gap to me. And so I kind of really quietly, I don't know why, for that one, I didn't start putting the word out much. I just was quietly looking for a hawk, and the right deal showed up just a couple of weeks ago. And so I pulled the trigger on it. I sold a couple of tokens, and bought a hawk. And I think the way the floor has been,
2 tokens, or did you sell 3 tokens?
I have to look again to make sure I remember correctly.
Curious.
But I mean, it wasn't necessarily like I'm selling these tokens to get this hawk. It was, I had just sold a couple, and the hawk became available, and I was like, oh yeah, I can do this right now.
Yeah.
And this is the time. And it ended up, I was lucky. It ended up being the perfect time to buy a hawk, because it was right before Gary started talking a lot about it.
And that's exactly what I'm thinking as you're speaking. It was right around when, I think it was right before actually Gary started talking about it, that I was thinking about the hawk. And yes, they were in the 12 to 15 range, maybe right after you got yours. And it feels like that was maybe where the arbitrage was, where I could have flipped 2 cores into a hawk. And now the value proposition is not the same. And it was about a month ago that I started getting really interested in this. There was a couple days where I had the hangout hawk as my profile picture, as like an aspirational thing. And then obviously he made the hint or the announcement, whatever, on the Twitter post that Hawks have a secret element after 3 years. This is the only token now to have some sort of confirmed utility or at least surprise after the 3 year duration. I'm sure most of them will, but that's not actually fact. What is fact is Hawks definitely have a surprise.
Yeah. Well, and what we know, what we found so far, I think, is that a surprise from Gary is a big deal, right?
Yeah. My suspicion, like I said this on the podcast the other day, I think he's going to pass it on. I think after 3 years, it's going to go for 1 year at a time to some other celebrity or respected friend. And it's going to be their charge to do at least 1, if not 5 hangouts per year with that community. And that the hangout will just continue.
That's a cool idea. And that sounds like something he would dream
Doesn't
up.
it? Doesn't it?
I mean, so, I think, as you think about it, I mean, the thing about it right now, though, the core floor has just exploded the last.
Yep, it sure has.
I mean, I don't remember which cores you have, but Harpic and what else?
And Heart Trooper.
Heart Trooper, right? Oh yeah, you'd have to give up your Heart Trooper, but
I don't think I can. But Alex has a Perceptive Puma.
Yeah, that'd be.
I think the Perceptive Puma and the Harpic for the Hawk, like if I could find somebody willing to do just that and like not involve more ETH or like it just make it a clean trade, I think right now I'd be willing to do that, knowing that Harpic is like definitely a winning character. And the thing is, like, I can transfer it back and forth with Alex, and he can, like, I don't need to go to all the hangouts necessarily. You know, it's more about just participating in that experience. So
yeah,
but
well, in the Hawk channel, which I've just recently become a member of, it's like people are like, oh, it's going to be so awesome when we can actually see each other and talk to each other and whatever. And all of a sudden somebody's like, well, why can't we just do that now? We don't need to wait for Gary to get together.
Right.
So we're gonna.
I've heard from other Hawks that it's like one of the most active and like communal channels in the Discord.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it. And that in the spec channel, which I've sort of bounced in and out of over the last couple of months.
Right.
When I have one, it is they're both really good. And I've heard the Gift Goat channel is great too, but I've not been in that one.
So what's interesting is right now I'm just looking at the listed VFriends. We're 3 tokens from a 9 ETH purchase floor, and the lowest being the Reliable Rat for 8.4. Right. There's only 3 tokens under 9. And look, and we've got some real flippers here. I mean, in these 3 listings, you have the Reliable Rat for 8.4. Looks like it's never been sold. But the next 2 were purchased for 7.9, flipping for 8.5, and 7.5, flipping for 8.9. So those are some quick moves there. Whoever is like these tokens were bought in the last 24 hours.
That's what I was gonna say. It's like the last day or 2 that they bought that. Probably yesterday.
Oh, I think this is Maddie Friedman, the creator of the Bullish Bears.
Bullish Bears, yeah.
Oh, I don't know for sure, but the wallet is named Maddie F. Yep, MaddieFriedman.eth. Yep. And then this blobfish.
Go Maddie. Make some
money.
Today.
But these are also like, I don't want to say the bottom of the barrel. Like every character has their merits.
Oh, is that a gnome that just showed up on the?
The cheapest Harpic is listed for 13.
Yeah, I mean that's still, to me, that's a decent deal with a floor at around 9.
With a floor at 9, yeah. Here's a Harpic for 20. It's either 13 or 25. Otherwise, they're not available.
Yeah, not very rare this morning listed. I don't know. Yeah, it's still there.
The very rare is here. The very rare is listed for 27.95.
And that was listed this morning for 21 something, because I was looking at that. That's a pretty good deal right now, and so they must have noticed and bumped it up.
Wow, look, this person bought the bubblegum Harpic for 5 on OpenSea.
Yeah. Wow,
an offer on 5, and they're selling it for 67.
And they
Boy,
could
oh
get it.
boy.
That's the wacky thing. I mean,
Yeah, it's not too far off, right?
yeah, I mean, it's probably
Especially
off
if the
like
hard pick
10.
gets some sort of confirmation soon.
Mhm.
Like if we get, because the thing that he said about the hard pick that I found so interesting was, what is that character's name? The green alien from Flintstones. He said that the hard pick was like the whatever, like the bazoo or something.
Hmm.
This alien character in the Flintstones that kind of comes in as a magical creature, kind of has
Hmm. I don't remember it.
eminence
Yeah.
in many places. A bit of a Deus ex machina type character, a bit of a magical, otherworldly character.
Mhm.
And we know thoughtfulness is huge in Gary's ecosystem as well. So he definitely cares about this character. This is the character he gave to D-Rock for his go.
Ah.
There's a lot of value in this character, but I'm not delusional, and I don't think I'm going to be able to flip it, at least right now, for 25 ETH to get a Hawk just outright. I mean, if I could find somebody who wanted to do a Hawk for a hard pick, I think I'd probably do it in a heartbeat. But
Yeah.
just curious. I'm curious about this trade if it's worth it.
I mean, but here's the thing. I was surprised that a Hawk sold for 25, and that's awesome, right? I mean, it means that my Hawk's worth a lot more than I thought. And
Yeah.
I mean, I paid 13 for it less than 2 weeks ago. So there's some people out there who don't have it listed for sale that you can bump into in the Discord, and they're like, oh yeah, I have a Hawk. And that's how it happened for me. I wasn't looking at their Hawk. We were talking about a different token, and I looked at their wallet and saw, oh, you have a Hawk.
Yeah, most of
selling
the recent purchases have been 15 to 20.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we don't need to consume the podcast with my personal predicament.
Let's get you a Hawk, man. We gotta get you there.
I feel like I need to be there. That's what I'm saying. Like, and that's why I'm willing to put up my hard pick, which is truly my most valuable asset. Like, not just monetarily, but like sentimental. I guess if you put a gun to my head, I'm more attached to the Heart Trooper than the hard pick.
Sure.
It's the first token I minted. I've associated myself with it through this podcast, and at the end of the day, like, it just is me. Like, I am a Heart Trooper, but I'm so invested in this heart pick emotionally and financially, and I wouldn't be putting it up if I didn't feel such a strong need to be a Hangout Hawk as well.
Yeah,
so that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I mean, it's very similar to how I felt. I mean, it's like the community has been pretty remarkable, and that is like the community within a community, the token that's about a community, and that's pretty cool.
Oh, Drofig has helped us out. The Great Gazoo is the character from the Flintstones.
Ah, okay.
Let's wrap this up. We've got 4.5 minutes left in this recording. We're gonna round it out with an hour and a half. Joe, I think this is a huge gift to the community. I think it's so fun that you did this, and I hope that it keeps coming. Like you said, at least 5. No expectations, but I'm looking forward to it. You're releasing the top 100 in what, a week?
Yeah, probably next week sometime.
Next week,
and then we'll actually have the rest of it after 100 is going to just be in buckets. Actually, after 60, we're going to rank through 60, 1 through 60, and then 60 through 100 will just be like tier 3, and then there'll be a tier 4 and a tier 5. So.
Right, and I like the tier 5 is the underdogs, right?
Yeah.
And how many characters are going to be in that tier 5? Or I guess so. You have top 100, and then tier 4, and how many are in tier 4 and 5?
Tier 4 will be 100, and then tier 5 will be 35. The last 35.
Got it. Fantastic. I guess we didn't tell people that these rankings were only for admission characters. So out of the 268 characters that exist in the VFriends collection, this was only out of 235. So any character that has 40 tokens, the core, rare, epic, etc. It's spectacular.
Yeah. So no gift goats, no access, no scholarship.
Yeah.
those.
Because the scholarship would definitely. Would you put scholarship in the top 30 if you were talking about all characters?
Oh man, yeah. I mean, there's how many of them?
There's 5 of them.
5. Yeah. I mean, there's 5 of them. And
They're all one of ones.
they're all one of ones. It's not just. I mean, it's the most intimate, in-depth experience there is out of any of them. Yeah. I mean, that's got to be crazy high, I would say, if we're thinking about that in terms of the whole thing. But I think most people don't think about it because it's not like anybody can buy and sell them right now.
Right.
At least.
Yeah.
You know.
I'm glad you think so. I have my heart set on becoming one.
I think we're all rooting for you.
I can't tell you the sense of gratitude it sparks in me to hear you say that, because you're not only you're saying you think we all like it boggles my mind how many people each week are asking me, did you hear about the sorcerer yet? Like, when are we going to hear? Can't wait to see you get the token. Like, I'm not getting ahead of myself, but I just cannot. I just feel like I've already won based on how the community's been responding. So that's huge. Joe, we have 30 seconds.
Nobody's worked harder at it, I'll say, that I can tell.
Yeah, I have no regrets about not putting in my best effort. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I want to give you the last 20 seconds, Joe. Do you have anything to tell the folks at home?
Well, yeah. So if you want to we're not going to actually put out there on the website anything beyond 60. So if you want more than that, you got to just go to thebartchart.com and sign up for the emails, and then you'll get everything when we release those. We're also going to have some special little things. We asked the experts to list their sleeper picks.
Go ahead. Pick up it. You're going to have some special little things.
Okay, we're going to have some special little things too. We have some sleeper picks that the experts have named, and so we'll have a list of those. We'll also have a little ranking of the token rarities. We ranked those from top to bottom. What's most value? Rare, spectacular, lava, whole, whatever.
This is cool. You're just getting started with this. This is so cool.
It's gonna be fun. Yeah, and it's nerdy. That's my thing. So
awesome. Well, I look forward to the next one, Joe. And even if it's not the Bart chart, it sounds like you've got a lot of insights into. I know that flipping is something that many people are doing and many more people want to be doing, but they're nervous about. I certainly am. And like I told you, I've begun that process. I'm going to start to make my first flips any day now. or try to. So, yeah, maybe we can continue the conversation in that regard sometime.
Sounds good. Yeah. And we'll see you in the Hangout Hawk gathering. Okay.
I really hope so. Thanks for your time, pal. And thanks to everybody who's listening. Go support Joe. He's at thebartchart.com. Sign up to get the top 100 list. At Joe Bart on Instagram, right? Just JoeBart.
Yep.
And you're on Twitter as well?
Yep. Same handle.
Joe Bart. Thank you for being here, man. And thank you everyone for listening to Jeremy Knows. Awesome. Dude, that was great. That was a fantastic. I loved it. I loved that I could just record 30-minute chunks and make a podcast out of it as we went along. Super fun.
Oh, we're just finishing up. We're going somewhere with my family, so I just got the. Are you done yet?
For sure. I just got a call from my fiance like 5 minutes ago as well. So I'll let you go.
All right.
I know that everybody really enjoyed it. So thanks again.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Thanks for having me. I'll talk to you again.
Talk to you later, Joe. Let me just quickly post the podcast. Hey folks, I'm back. I'm just gonna record this podcast, and so this audio is still processing. You guys want to go through my Twitter notifications? Look at this! Look at this! Nick Corso for Discord Manager. Let's go! I love it. I love it. I love it so much. This is awesome. I think Discord Manager should be more prominent. I also love this because Corso loves America. Corso might actually still be here. Wow, 54 people like this tweet. Whoa, that's a lot. That's like a lot for one of our posts. Kind of impressed by that. Oh, people are sharing our shit. This is so cool. Where's the start of these notifications? Getting closer. Wow, Twitter's been blown up. If you guys aren't on Twitter, I would suggest checking it out. Hey, Army Drew, thanks for popping in. We just got Twitter Spaces, which basically like a Clubhouse audio execution on Twitter, and so I'm trying to spend more time there. Gary's obviously spending a lot of time there, so I'm following his lead. Thanks for the shout out. Love 1169 so much. It's going to take me a lot to part with him. Yeah, nice. This guy has like basically my dream ape. Like there are other apes with bowlers that I like as well, but the simple black shirt, he's just so clean. I really like that ape. Quitting your job for something you love can bring happiness. NFTs are a great vehicle. Well said. Yes, please. You got it. Done. Dang, I got mine on the 26th of May, Gary. Congrats. Yeah, you're an OG. This is the absolute truth. Yeah. So this is the tweet that surprised me. Yeah, I guess people really liked it. Comments and retweets. One of the craziest things about the NFT community is if you can't spend money, you can spend time. And just for being present and kind, people will literally send you shit to get you started. Nobody is gifting a punk. That's a scam. But gifts are aplenty here, and it's really true. It's really true. Somebody gifted me a cranium the first time I came in their Discord. Craniums are now worth quite a lot from what I understand. Nice. Cool. What else we got? Gifts galore. Much love. Oh, what is this? Just a random tweet tagging people that you like? Thanks, Tyler. Oh. So if you're watching this, you want to help Chris Seagraves out, I retweeted this. Wow, he's ahead now. Time to find our Kamar competition winner. See our top 3 in the tweet below. I didn't actually know what this was about, but just a person who has Chris Seeger. I've seen him around a bunch. He's in the lead. You're in the lead. Yeah. Has this processed yet? Nope. Who's sharing my NFTs? Some NFT projects mean more than just a flip opportunity, is the epitome of purpose. Thanks for the flame. Wow. I love this. My NFC journey started with the VFriends NFT giveaway. Gary V gifted me a tremendous Tiger Rare Go just for being present and positive member of the community. For that, I am eternally grateful. Awesome. Alex, I'm gonna follow you. Let me follow you. Let me just follow. Actually, no data lady. Befriend. Fun. Some folks. Tyler Dowdle. I feel like I recognize that name. Awesome. I feel like I talked to this guy yesterday in Clubhouse. Who knows? NFT granny, not actually a granny, but could be. Crypto is not a dirty word. I'm an artist working on an amazing NFT project. It's never too late to have fun. Awesome. Cool. And it looks like we're pretty much caught up. What's this? Smart NFT collection of mine. Keep up the great work. What's this? Trip across America NFTs. Oh, this is fun. I've been hearing a lot about photography NFTs, that they're getting some attention right now, and that they're about to get more attention. Cool. Okay. Nice. Is this processed yet? Come on. Oh my God, my fiance just ordered pizza and I couldn't be happier. Okay, I think I'm gonna take my dog out. I gotta get back to family stuff. Oops, that's not what I want to do. Here. So what's up? Can you imagine someone gifting a punk? Gary will do that shit eventually. You know, a couple people have been telling me and asking me if they think the reason that Gary is buying more punks is to fractionalize some of them and give them to gift goats and possibly other VFriend holders. And I feel very conflicted about the possibility of that. Like, yes, it's very generous, but on the other hand, I'm not sure that's actually helpful, because like, yes, if he decides to give away a punk and fractionalizes it into however many token holders there are at that time and just gives us all part of that equity, that's an incredible gift, like hugely generous, could mean a lot. But I don't know. I feel like there's a lot more complications involved. I feel like it'd be more beneficial for us if he set up some kind of DAO and put the punks in the vault. Like, even if he made the VFriends wallet a vault, and did like, well, you know what would be very interesting is if Series 2 was kind of like Punk's comics, and he allowed, instead of investing in a character and in the IP, allowing the Series 2 to invest in the vault. Yeah, I agree with you, Drofig, that goats won't be getting. I'm not even sure they'll be getting NFTs at all. I mean, he was pretty clear that it's physical gifts. It's obviously completely in his control to change that. He could send hardware wallets with seed phrases. Like, he could do all sorts of things. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if he sent every gift go to hardware wallet and it's empty, and he has the addresses, and the only thing about that is that he also has the seed phrases. But I guess not. There must be a way. I guess he could do it in a way where he sends you like an unopened hardware wallet, and you set it up, and then you add that to your gift goat registration. And that way, if they do want to do airdrops for gift goat holders, that's how they get the address. That's possible. But I think you're right that like goats is going to be more collectibles, like Drofik said, Instagram flex stuff. And I do think that's kind of a mood. Like that's definitely gonna be part of it. I'm not really interested in that much flex stuff, so I'm hoping that it's something. I'm hoping that it's something that you can also hold. I feel like he's gonna try to give us assets, but maybe practical things. Like it'll be interesting. Yeah, graded sports cards. Like he's definitely got the sports cards for that. He's definitely going to be doing some marketing deals for it. You know, he could definitely try and get certain sneakers but I think it's gonna be stuff based, right? It's gonna be merch. It's gonna be in the realm of physical collectibles mostly. I don't think anybody's getting a Tesla. Like I just don't see. I don't see I don't see what the benefit for Tesla is to make that, like, even if they bought them at cost, or even if they bought them at retail. I mean, I guess if VFriends bought them at retail, then there's no downside for Tesla. It's only upside. But I don't see the benefit of Tesla giving Gary a discount on 555 Cybertrucks when they don't need the brand awareness. Yeah, I feel like that's more of a meme at this point. I could be completely wrong. It feels like more of a meme. Okay, apparently, I don't know why this one's taking so long. Maybe I just need to refresh this page. That's fine. Yeah, great. I was like, why is this one that's only a minute and a half long taking the longest of all of them to process? I'm not even going to bother adding music or an intro. We'll just go straight into it. Episode 56, the Bart chart with Joe Bart. This is a long form interview with Joe Bart, who created and organized the Bart chart. HTTP, come on, type HTTPS thebartchart.com. There you will find a top 30 unofficial VFriends power ranking. That is the average of 20 expert opinions in the community. The first half of the podcast, we dive into Joe's experience before and throughout VFriends. The second third, we go deep on the top 30 results. And the last third, we jump around and discuss if and how I should get a Hangout Hawk. Enjoy episode 56. Cool. Right. Awesome. Cheers, cheers, cheers. Wow, 56 time flies when you're having fun. Yeah. All right. I gotta go. Fun hanging out with everybody, and I don't know when I'm back. Wow, we were streaming for 3 hours today. It's great. I guess we'll see if anything interesting happened today. The only thing that's on my radar is that Gary said more announcements soon. I feel like that's Monday, not tomorrow. And we'll do a daily download tomorrow. And Monday afternoon is when we'll find out about the Avastars window for minting. So it's not Monday at 4 p.m., but Monday at 4 p.m. is when we'll find out when we can mint our free Avastars. So I'll be loud about it, making shit happen. Actually, I started fun stuff. I mean, I know Drofig knows. I know Army Drew knows. I don't know who are the other 5 people here, but like we've been building this wannabe sorcerers video game, this interactive Donkey Kong like video game on the Instagram profile, and it's hard because we want to be precious about how it looks aesthetically on the profile, but it also requires a bit of messiness to just keep up with the announcements on VFriends. And so we made a separate account to start testing the content and making sure it's all right. But now I've decided that test account, it's more interesting to keep it public and allow people to see the process. So after I take care of some stuff at home, I'm actually going to start engaging on my own profile with a new account called Wannabe Sorcerer, where I will post, where we will eventually archive the video game. The video game will still happen on Wannabe a VFriend, but we'll eventually archive it on Wannabe a Sorcerers. And because this is such a pillar of content that I want to make, like I want to get as many sorcerer stories on that profile as soon as possible, you know, ahead of whatever whenever the sorcerer announcement comes. So like, I'm just gonna start interacting with my Wannabe VFriend channel and VFriends and other people that we know through Wannabe Sorcerer, even though there's no content there right now. I'm going to post something that's like, if you applied for this scholarship, let's make a 3-panel post. Like, give me an image. Like, let's do a video. Like, let's get 3 posts per sorcerer on this channel and archive all the amazing people that wanted this opportunity. Like, I think that's going to be cool. So just telling you what's happening next with me. So anyway, that's what's up. Thanks for hanging, and I'll see you in the next one.